Welcome in. Welcome again to the Great American Experience, otherwise known as the game. I'm the Wizard of Oz, and this is not my show. This is your show. Hey, Zoom, how you doing? So let's let the notifications go out and let this party get started. It was a nice day. Hey, Jason, how you doing? So, yeah, hey, let's get this party started here. There we go. Oh man, what a crazy day! Yep, I still got Aaron on my phone. Yeah, in fact, talking about that, plug that sucker in. Go. Oh, well, thanks. Right. Yeah, well, yeah, Ranger's doing great. He's loving it. He's liking this cold. The puppies are doing awesome. Yeah, the puppies are doing great. Yes, they are. They get big. Weighed them last night. They're 43 pounds. 4 months old puppies. Yeah, Jason, I was pretty distraught because of my situation with the generator. But yeah, now that we have a solution on that, I feel a little bit better about it. I actually went out there and was tinkering with it today because we needed water, and I got her started, and sounded like hell, dude. Like it was gonna blow up, but I got enough time out of it before it quit running, before so I could get the water out of the well. So I got everything, got all the water done for all the animals, and actually stored a little bit extra, and so I can got a day or two of waters for the animals. I don't know if I get it started up again. I don't think it's gonna do it. Boy, it was sounding like it was gonna blow out. But yeah, we have a solution on that, and it's getting there. Oh man. So, oh man. Clean, dry, and sober on the deck. No handrails. Fire in the motherfucking boat. Rock on. Hey, Singularity. What's up, Sing? Here, let me get that up there. There you go. Just in case you need a link. But yeah, no doubt. Hey, Zach. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. As good as the Lord will let me be. So I'll be humble in that. I'm grateful for, you know, what I do have. So doing good. I'm doing good. Oh, there you are. What's up, Sing?
Hey, what's up?
Good to see you. Thank
So,
you.
good news. My puppy, it sounds like, does not have cancer. It was some type of
Assist.
of growth. Yeah, something about if you don't get a female dog fixed, and when they get to about 10 years old, there's like a 50-50 chance they'll grow this like a cyst, but it's not cancerous.
Right,
But
right, right.
yeah,
Hey,
it's
Diesel,
it
welcome in.
it's
Yeah,
apparently
that's good to know.
dangerous, and a good thing we caught it, but she went through surgery today and should be able to bring her home either tomorrow or the next day. So
Oh, wow. All right. Rock on.
yeah,
Yeah, I was tinkering around with that generator
get it
and I
going.
got her started up. Oh, she
Oh,
sounded like hell, like she was going to come apart at the seams. You know what I'm saying?
clang
But,
clang clang clang.
oh, yeah, it was bad. But it was power in the well. So I got all the waters done for the animals and stuff again today and a little bit extra for tomorrow before she quit. So,
Yeah, because it'll probably end up wedging that piston sooner or
Um,
later.
yeah, most likely. It's smoking and sounding like clacks and all that stuff. So when she's cooled down, though, she gets enough compression to start up.
Mm,
Uh huh. So yeah, but yeah, it didn't last long, and yeah, that kind of thing. So at least I got
I
some
know.
water.
I worked at a place long time ago where I was rebuilding their small engines. It was a fertilizer place, and they had all those Honda 5 horse motors on all their fertilizer transfer tanks. And
Right?
that's all I did is rebuilt those things. And one of the main guys thought he'd save some money and bought a bunch of the Chinese knockoff Hondas.
Yeah.
And when they went out, we just had to scrap them. They
Oh,
just you could not rebuild those things.
well, right. They're not made with the types of materials you can do that with.
Right. And that's just it. A Honda costs more, but you could get a new piston, a new rod, the rings, and everything for even upwards, as long as a single cylinder, even upwards of an 8 or 9 horsepower Honda for like $200,
Right.
and you got a brand new motor. I mean, that's bearings, everything. By the time you're done, you got a new motor.
Well, right. Right. That's the idea, though. Right.
Yep, yep. And
You
if
know.
you just do rings and the bearings, you're only looking at like $30 or $40.
But if you can't sleeve that bitch, it's you might as well buy a new engine.
Yep, yep. Well, and some of them, they'll overwrap them. Um, some of the farmers would get them, and they would take that governor and bend it to where they could overwrap it to get it to transfer quicker. And when those things would go, it'd send that rod right through the side of the block. So it was done. And we knew
Yeah.
every time what happened.
Right.
JB weld it back together, or I mean nuts and bolts.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm hoping this blizzard up here doesn't start until after about noon, to where I could get down and get the pup and get back up here. Because she's at a clinic about an hour, vet clinic about an hour and a half away from it. She's where I used to live. I still use that vet. So
Well, give him a call and tell him you're coming early to get her. And, you know what I'm saying, just to make sure.
right, and I did, and they usually don't release them until about 9, and they're going to go in about 6. They're going to check her out, walk her around, do everything they wanted to, so I could get out of there. It's a good vet.
Good deal.
I was telling, all right, on, thanks, Diesel. But I was telling Diesel actually about him because he lives close to me, and he was looking for a good vet because he has to go to Greeley. And I told him about there's 2 that I trust really well. I mean, they've saved the 2 that I trust have both saved my dog's lives. One with the diabetes that the other vets didn't catch, and then one, Sadie, remember about 6 months ago, I had to have the emergency surgery done on her. She's the one I call my golden pup.
Yeah.
And she cost me a pretty penny, didn't you, pup? But now Cowley's going to be a golden pup too, though, because apparently this is not a cheap surgery.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, you know, they do have that pet insurance now. You can buy health insurance for your pet.
Right. That's what Diesel was talking about last night after he brought it up. I was like, you know what, I need to get that. I was checking in on some of it today. And it's cheap. It's only like $10 or $12 a month for some of them.
Right. So, but yeah, these it's all, man, going crazy. Whole world's going stupid. Yeah.
Tell you what, though, these vets, they're you think of a vet as somebody that just castrates and gives shots. And these vets today, I mean, they're all surgeons. I mean, they can do emergency operations. So, it does cost a lot, but they can do a lot.
Right. Right.
Hey, Dallas. But yeah, the world's gone crazy. Have you heard that they're having trouble proving that it was a down power line? People are asking questions here in Colorado about the fire.
Hmm. I haven't heard that, but no, I kind of figured it wasn't some down power lines.
So the news is still reporting down power lines, but a lot of people are asking questions. They're like, where's the down power line? And where it started, I guess there wasn't a power line. There was an abandoned barn. And then they showed there was on the internet somebody had posted on YouTube because it had hit the news, and then the news took it off their site on Channel 2 News. They took it off of their site about a barn, another old abandoned barn burning that was way away from the fire. And there was no power to that old barn. It was an old abandoned barn, and it was burning. So, and there's a lot of people talking about that at the beginning of this fire, there was an old barn out there. So I don't know. I
I'm
don't know
telling you,
what's up with it.
it started at the university.
Yeah,
Right?
they're
It
playing around with
started,
stuff. Huh?
it started at the university. Some bastard leftist, crazy communist professor, going out and starting these fires.
Well, I know last year there was a lot of the Antifa people getting caught, and they caught a guy in Colorado, or one of the Antifa guys. They caught him going up over into the mountains off of what is it, 70? I think it was I-70. Caught him off the interstate, and he had a trunk full of like Molotov cocktails, a bunch of fireworks, all sorts of stuff in there. A lot of
Oh,
arson
really?
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And they weren't like normal fireworks. I mean, there are a lot of fireworks stuff set up to basically run as a torch for a while.
Wow.
Hey, Ragged. Yeah, I couldn't say what's going on. I don't know, but it definitely makes a person wonder sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm not a firm believer in Occam's razor, but like you said, a lot of times the simplest explanation really is, if it looks like that's what it is, it probably is. Kind of like one of those things where there's smoke, there's fire. Little truth to all fiction type of thing. Yeah, right, Dallas. A lot of these teachers were caught
Yeah.
getting their students. They were like giving their students extra credit to go out and like go to like Trump rallies and cause disorder and stuff.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yep.
2020. Yep. I just hope the people running on because it's going to be a red wave. I just hope the people on the Republican side. I hope we don't get any more Romney types or some of those. I hope people finally start looking at the history of who they're voting for. Look at what they voted on if they've been in it for a while. Look,
Right.
what they believed in if they're new to it. Look at their, because let's face
Yep.
it,
Sam McConnell, Graham, Grassley, and all the rest of their ilk. Romney. Get them
what's her
all
face?
out of there.
Yeah, what's her face from Wyoming? Um, Cheney, Liz Cheney, get
Oh,
her out of
yeah.
there.
Well, yeah. Imagine that.
Oh, she's done up there though. I mean, she doesn't even go back. Apparently, she doesn't even visit Wyoming anymore. She's constantly in DC. She knows she's done in Wyoming.
Yep.
They're not happy.
Right. Well, she's the primary one going after all the
Mm-hmm.
going after January 6th protesters. You know,
Yep, she's trying to take out Trump so he can't run again. That's what it is. They're all afraid of Trump and they don't want him
yep.
to run again.
Because he
So
gets
they're trying
back.
to.
Once he gets back in office, they're toast. They're toast.
Well, and just the fact of that they know he's got the backing and they know his pro-American, especially with. I mean, you go in. They're saying it's like a 4 to 6% uh, inflation, and it's well over that. You go to the store now, and what I used to get for about $60, I paid $89 for it today. And this was going to Walmart. I'm not a big fan of Walmart, but I was trying to save on some groceries, so I went and bought groceries there. $89, and it was not a whole lot.
Oh wow! All right,
Is that Don?
that's done. And then there's Don. What's up?
But in my opinion, it really appears to be over 10% in inflation.
The badass from Nevada. What's up? You're muted.
Yeah, I know. Good evening, gentlemen. How's everybody?
Doing
Doing good.
well.
Doing good. Hey,
Can you hear me?
I was tinkering with that generator, the one that's out there, and I got it running. It sounded like hell, like it was going to blow up, but I got it running enough to get some water out of the well.
Dude, that's great. Go
I
ahead.
was going to answer Ghost real quick. Ghost DeSantis. I like DeSantis, and he has a lot of momentum right now. He's got a lot of momentum right now. He's probably the only one that could possibly even stand a chance to primary Trump. I don't think he could primary
I
Trump,
don't
but
think
he's
he
the
could.
only one that
I
would
don't think
even
he
stand
can.
a chance.
I don't think he will.
I don't
It's
think he
not the
will.
could. I don't think it's the will. It's the
Yeah.
will. I don't think it's taken a little longer, but the Republican Party is finally starting to coalesce behind Trump. And the anti-Trumpers are, the McConnells and the fucking Romneys of the world. And oh, by the way, I heard you talking about Liz Cheney. The Wyoming Republican Party removed her. Not just removed her from leadership, removed her from the state party. She is no longer part of the Republican Party.
God.
And what that means is not only will she not be reelected, but that means she can't even get her name on the fucking ballot in all of these voting districts.
That's what I was telling Emerald. They basically ran her out. She lives in DC now. Yeah.
Yep. They ran her out on a rail. It was fucking beautiful. I read a lot about that. That was a wonderful.
Yep,
when on those days when you're having a really hard day, you read those kinds of things and it warms your heart.
Yeah.
It does, because the people.
Let's talk about generators, Wiz.
Yeah.
Can we? I'm sorry, I don't want to shift I do want to shift the convo a little bit to generators.
Okay.
Where are you at in your need for funding your dual acquisition solution, sir?
I went back to the site that Dave pointed us to, and the cart was deleted, and so was the item we were selecting. The one that they now have up is a different one. So I'm back to the one at $7.99 at Lowe's, and it is a 6500. It's a Generac, and we are $80 short. But yeah, that's it. Just $80.
How are you $80 short? $80 short for what? So it's $7.99. You've got
plus tax.
What, 7? Oh, tax and title.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't thinking about tax when I was there.
nuts and bolts. Okay. So there's no wholesale. Options for us.
I haven't found any at all. Not on the Generac stuff. It's.
I got to ask the question: what happened to Dude? We had to. Last time we spoke, there were 2. We could buy 2 of them wholesale.
Right.
What happened? So the thing is now just deleted, and we know nothing else about that. That'll never happen, and no way in fucking hell. And what?
Amex.
It's just that's a fucking.
I guess I have to talk to Dave and find out what's going on with that. But the ones that are up there for $358 now don't have a 220 dual phase. And that's what I was checking on last night. I know I was checking that last night.
I've seen Generac on Amazon. Just a thought.
I looked all over Amazon. I looked all on there was another site that I was looking at, eBay, and one other place. It was a wholesale place. But do you have any links for wholesale stuff? Or
how about a Honda? Could you get a Honda cheaper than you could get a Generac?
No.
And I know Generacs are really good, but Honda's good too.
You don't touch a Honda.
Doesn't make anything that big. Honestly, it doesn't make anything in the home generator facilities. It doesn't have a product in that line. It's got a lot of products in the lower below that, and a lot of products higher than that in their industrial line. But they don't. I looked for them in an RV line, and they didn't have anything in the 4,000 to 6,000 watt area. I wanted one. Everybody wants a fucking Honda motor.
Right.
I've got one, but it's a construction site. So yeah, I get
anything that's even close is like $2,000.
Yeah, that's true. Honda motors are fucking. But the Generac motors, they've literally developed their own 3-stroke or 3-cylinder low RPM motor that runs for literally 30 years at a time.
And they're quiet. Mine is a Whisper. It's called. Mine's not near as big as yours, Don. Mine's only the 12.5, but it's a Whisper, and it runs off natural gas.
There you go. Nice.
And that thing, you can have a conversation like this standing above it.
Yeah, my Generac won't do that. Quiet it ain't, but I don't care.
I did see a WEN generator, WEN. Okay, and it was only like six something.
It's one of those Chinese motors in it.
It's a China. I mean, listen, if you're down in the 2K, you want a 2,000, 3,000 watt generator, then Win is probably good for you. It's the step below the Hondas, but it's above the Predators of the fucking Harbor Freights.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy a Harbor Freight one.
And that's fine. That's fine. If you want one of those, they're respectably priced. But that's not what you need. You need a fucking, and you need to stop taking your eyes away from the prize and stay on the GP 5500, GP 6500 area, because that's
Right,
where you need to be.
right.
That's where you need to load. And if we could have gotten two of those, I still would have gotten all fuzzy and had an erect penis. But if that's not going to happen, then I just need to climb off of my erect penis, I guess.
Yeah, I went back to that
And
site this morning because I was going to call them. I was going to call them and find out, more details on everything. And the cart was deleted, and the only item up there similar was one that doesn't have dual phase 220.
To me, that sounds like it's a good thing you didn't order from there to begin with, because that sounds weird. That the
Yeah,
cart that they took it
that's
off.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
we don't have that
probably
anymore,
right.
and they deleted it. Yeah.
Well, oh shit, we didn't want to sell him two of these at wholesale. Whatever
Right.
it was. It's more like.
Yeah.
But okay. That's cool.
I called Dave, but he didn't answer, and he hasn't returned the calls. So
Okay. Yeah, let's just stay with. Listen, I've seen those Generacs on like saying I've seen those Generacs on Amazon for a
yeah,
respectable amount of money, and I don't know. I'll
yeah,
look
they're
around. Maybe
cheaper on
local Lowe's or Home Depot might have one. Is that a possibility? Local
Lowe's. Got
guys.
one in just yesterday, and it's not even on their inventory list, and it won't go on the website because they only have that one.
Okay, what is
So
it? Is it Generac?
6,500. It's a 6,500.
How much?
799. Yeah.
Dude, if you could pick it up locally, that would be so much more better.
Right, and it's brand new, and it's got a 3-year warranty on it.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep.
and if
And you
anything goes
can,
wrong, I can just yell at the store locally and
yeah, you
threaten to
can
throw it
warranty
at
it
them.
directly.
Shit like
One
that.
neck to
Directly from
choke.
those.
Exactly.
There was a
Okay.
refurbed one, but it was like
No,
it was still
no
right at
refurb.
700.
No, fuck that. No, new with warranty, Generac, with the Generac factory warranty, new.
Right.
Nothing less. Nothing less. Let me be clear.
Right. No, that's what I was saying. That it was still a factory. It was still a factory issued refurb, certified refurb
Still
with a
no.
2-year
Still
warranty.
no.
You guys,
No,
you guys
was
know
only-
who that is coming in?
But it was
No.
it was still damn near $700. You know what I'm saying?
My naughty list. Let's see if naughty list wants to be all naughty.
Is that
Who's
Woody?
naughty in the naughty
That's
list?
Woody.
I don't know. It could be Woodhead.
No.
All right.
Hey, Don.
There he is. Is that Bill?
It's me, Wild Bill Ghost.
It's me. It's me. Like we're supposed to know that shit. Yeah, it's me.
So
Right.
yeah,
And I agree with Don on a generator is something that remans because they don't do anything new on the gen set. They'll rebuild the motor, and the gen set itself is usually what came out of it, so it's got all the wear on it. Those, when they refurbish those, they don't quite go into detail on those.
So magneto's not new, switching's not new, coiling's not new, fucking stators are not new. Nothing is new in the generator set. So no, if you're going to spend the dollar and going to spend the dime, don't go close. Get the fucking real deal. Get the factory warranty, 3 years. Have the guys. It's good if your receipt says local store.
Yep.
That way you can come back to local store and say, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And they're like, okay, no problem, local store. They take care of you. So
And
I'm
I
just saying,
don't,
brother.
I do agree with Don a lot lately. I have to take a lot of showers, Max. I don't get it.
Oh, man.
Actually, Don and I actually agree on a lot. It's how we get to the agreement that is the interesting part.
He's absolutely right. He is absolutely right. Well, while I will tear through the cornfield at high speed and damn the fucking collateral damage,
Bull in the China shop. Yep.
Singh will ease himself around the cornfield through the little mazes and the little turn areas to make sure that he doesn't offend anyone in the process of getting to his final conclusion.
And
Right.
Don's just kicking everybody in the balls as he goes by, even if
Exactly.
they're people he agrees with. Just bah, bah.
You're wrong.
Yep.
You're wrong.
Collateral damage, you get a ball shot too. Exactly.
If you try to stop him, you get a spike in the neck.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm
Yep.
sorry. I know you guys hate me for that. Hate me for that. You're like, oh, he's so fucking, yeah, he's loud, he's obnoxious, but they never say he's so fucking wrong. They don't say that.
I do.
Wrong. Well, you can. Wrong.
I think I'm actually the only one that's disagreed with you on stuff, but I will admit, not many people disagree with you. I think it's that they're afraid of you, though.
Well, you know, fear
is
is a wonderful motivation. It really is.
It is, and yeah, and I'm not being
It's
a smart
powerful
aleck. I'm trying to
motivator.
bring you down. I think that's one of your strengths is that people are like, shit, I don't want to catch any of that, so they don't want to disagree.
But then there are some people that have the stones to stand up and say, whoa, 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 just slow the fuck down.
Or I'm just dumb.
Or
I don't know.
free healthcare. No, you're
One
not.
of the-
Butch, you're still a liberal. You live in fucking Minnesota, which is without a doubt one of the most blue fucking states in the United States anyway. I didn't want to say in the world. I mean, we have to include Europe. So you're not quite but you do have that whole Norwegian kind of, you know, we're just going to be a little. But I'm Karen. I mean, if you want to call me Karen, dude, trust me. You want to call me Karen? Karen is the best thing anyone will call me today. Really, it is.
Max says, well, you're an asshole, but somebody's got to do it. So, yeah. Somebody's got to go kicking everybody in the balls to get the point across. And these days, to be honest, you really do sometimes. It may not have used to been that way, but used to could. But now
the
nowadays,
soft cuddly guy is the soft cuddly Republican has to go the way of the dodo bird. I'm serious. The Mitch McConnell's, the collegial, senatorial, you know, I'm going to fight with you tooth and nail on the floor, but afterwards we're going down to the bar and we're going to haul a few in.
See, I think a lot of those aren't even, I don't know what they are. They're not what they say they are.
You know what? You're right. Not all Minnesotans are lefties. And I applaud you in so much as you have a lot of right ideals there, dear Butch, and I'm talking to you. You just deliver them with a very left-handed view. My humble opinion. You're very tolerant of people. That's cool. Good evening, guys, minus Don. Okay.
Well,
I expected that.
Oh, shit.
So now you've got me in trouble. Now you've got me. See, now what you fucking done. Now you've called the wife.
Yeah, the wife.
I keep telling you, if the wife calls, tell her I'm not here.
The funny thing is,
Don who? Never heard of him.
You were going by kicking everybody in the balls, and the wife walks up and kicks you square in the balls.
Right. Now, the one that that they suggested in chat, that was who was that? The Shadow. That's the one Shadow suggested. And I was like, that's the same one, but it's $9.69. And one we were looking at for $7.99 at Lowe's.
Nice. You're not in trouble, Don. She said, no, not in trouble. You're okay.
I'm tolerant. That's not wrong. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're tolerant. Turning the other cheek is not. It's not wrong. But we've turned it the other. The turning the other cheek has gotten us in a bad way. It really has.
See, that's where I confuse people. I am tolerant, but I don't turn the other cheek. I keep pushing forward.
I'm tired of turning the other cheek.
I tick a lot of people off
sorry.
pushing forward. But that's how it goes these days. I'm not worried about, offending people or ticking people off really as much as y'all think. I'm just trying to make sure they get the point I'm trying to make. I'm not turning.
I ain't turning shit, he says. Dude, so, and I'm going to say this with the wife watching. Probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. What do you need exactly? Dollar for dime, Wiz?
Just $80.
$80 exactly. Does
Well,
that mean you can walk into the Lowe's tomorrow and pick that thing up?
yeah. Yep. Well,
All right.
$7.99 in taxes, about 10% now here.
Tell me exactly what that dollar amount is. Tell me what that dollar amount is, and I'll cover it. Tell me what that is.
Okay.
Exactly. To the fucking penny.
All right. Because all I got to do is go over here, add it to cart. I can tell you. I added it twice. Hold
on. Real quick, Ragged, go to metaldetector.com and look at either their Garrett's or their Fishers, in my opinion. I've got a Garrett.
$80.90.
8090, is that what I copy?
Correct.
Roger that. I'll put that in your PayPal tonight. Now, in the next 30 minutes.
Oh, sweet.
$80.90.
Correct. That's what it
Got
says. In fact, I could show you right here. Hold up.
Your word's good with me, brother. I'm good with that. I just like nice round fucking to the penny numbers. That's all I'm saying.
Right. $8.80.90. Yep.
I got you.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
What are you wanting to do with it, Ragged? I mean, depending on what series of each you would want. If it's a hobbyist, you could go, or a hobby, you could go with the Garrett Hobbyist. I'd go with the Garrett Professional, personally. Fisher, take your pick from what I understand. I've never had a Fisher myself, but from what I've heard of other people that do metal detecting, Fisher is looking for coins. Garrett makes a good one. I would look at the Garretts, but go to metaldetector.com. They're a little more expensive, but they've got everything you need. And make sure you get a little pinpoint too, a little handheld pinpoint, because you'll get there and you'll be frustrated digging through everything with that big old ring on the end. If you don't have that pinpoint, you'll be there forever.
What are you guys talking
Sorry,
about?
I didn't mean to change the subject. Ragged was asking about metal detectors.
Oh, right. This generator is too small. No, that's the 6500. The one we're looking at that I poked up there. That's the 6500 Power Rush with the two dual phase 240 and 120 outlet stuff. It's bigger than it's just a little smidge bigger than the one I got. The one that just blew up.
A good top end one diesel, you could still get them for under $100. I mean, some you can get for like 20, $30, and they do just fine, really. Pinpoints don't need to be real accurate. The real top dollar ones, though, they'll detect different types. They've got settings for different types of consistency in the metal. Like if he's doing coins, he can set it to where he's trying to pick up like the gold or the silver in it more than steel.
Oh, right.
But those are around $100. You can still get some of them under, but some of those, even those pinpoints, they can get up there. I would never go that nuts. I think mine was like $39.99. I got it on Amazon. It does just fine. Scott's
Right.
Bluff.
What's really cool is if you can go to a Civil War battle site kind of thing. The stuff you find in those fields is crazy.
Even the gun balls would be awesome, coming up with some of that stuff.
Done.
Oh,
check your box.
Cool, Don. Thank you from all of us.
Oh no,
yes,
no. I need to see this through. I want to see this done, completed. I want to see you with the new generator up in the compound there, quickly.
Max, you too. Thanks. A crap
yes,
load.
big. I'm just following up on Max's big event. I'm just following up on the greatness that is Max. That's all.
If you want a straight professional, the Fishers, Ragged. Garrett makes a professional, but Fishers, from what I understand with Fisher, like anything you get of theirs is they don't really have like the lower models, top models. They've got several models, but they're all legit models. But Fishers, I mean, some of theirs can get over $1,000. So careful there too. Matter of fact, I can pull it up here real quick. This.
How's that go? I stand on the shoulders of giants.
Right.
Right, Max? I stand on the shoulders of giants, Max.
Yes, thank you. You guys. All of you. Oh, thank you.
Ragged, I don't know how much you're willing to spend, but they've got a holiday sale on metaldetectors.com to where normally things that are like $800, you can get them for like $550, and it's a full kit. It's a Garrett AT Pro, and it's a waterproof one, and it's even got the pinpoint. It's got all sorts of stuff that I don't even know what it is. I'm not an expert with it, and it's got a lot of stuff that I've never seen before. It's got some type of thing that helps program it, and I don't know what. Either of you into it enough to know if you can program some of those? Mine's just the old school. It's not digital. It's the old school dial with the buzzer.
What are we programming?
Some of these new metal detectors, you can program them somehow.
Yeah, pretty much everything's got a fucking app for it now.
It says programmable bonus pack. I don't know what that means. And even on here, I mean, yeah. Well, here's the Garrett GTI 2500, which is insane. It's a $1,600 metal detector. So depending on which level you want to go to, I would just go to metaldetector.com and look around Ragged and have fun, because everything they carry there is going to be good. And they're going to tell you if it's a beginner's one or if it's a pro or whatever. And you said you want a pro one, but I would not start out on a high level pro one, because it'll take you a while to get used to all the stuff, even on like mine with the dial and the buzzer. I mean, there's different things you could do with that I still don't know about.
Oh, right. Dials and buzzers.
Yeah. And I mean, there's not much to it. It's pretty basic, but there's things that it tells you can do that I've never even messed around with. I started doing it, and I don't know, some people might think it's weird, but I started doing it. We've got a lot of planes around here, and well, Diesel knows that over the years it's considered a high meteorite impact spot with these higher elevations on the plains. And I did it to try to start looking for little chunks of meteorites and stuff. I want to build one that I could pull behind the four-wheeler and hook up to a laptop, to where I could set up a series of the rings off like a chunk of PVC that goes about 10 foot wide, and I can just drive back and forth on the four-wheeler and pull it, and then have a laptop that runs each individual one. I don't know if that's even possible to do, but I'd like to try it. God, if you think about it though, Ragged, where you're at, you're right there in the area that even the Romans came over. So there's some good stuff in the ground where you're at. I'm always seeing on YouTube about people finding like old Roman coins and stuff just out of nowhere.
Weapons and with pieces of armor and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you hit the I bet you can find all kinds of stuff out there on the beach down below at the bottom of the cliff.
Sorry about that. I had to break up a cat fight. My cats decided not to get along. So
Oh.
I had to take a water bottle to them.
There's a squirt gun for them.
Yep. So now they're ticked off at me and they're brooding together. So now they get along because they're mad at me. So
Fire in the motherfucking bowl. You guys are awesome. I'm speechless. Thank you.
right, Ghost. I've always been happy with my Garrett, and it's not a real expensive one. Butch said he heard the cats. I tried to push mute real quick when I heard it. It's like, what the heck?
No,
And my cats they're both, the two big ones anyways, are both the size of a small dog, so they're not easy to separate.
right, lots of sharp edges.
Yeah, you definitely don't get your hands in there. I learned that lesson. I keep the water bottle handy. One of them apparently thought I was one of the others and bit me in the arm, and yeah, they can be turds. Hey, Bill.
Hey, I figure I would jump back up on here. I'm having a connector problem with my charger port on my phone.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it just wiggles and it bumps me off and everything. So I kind of have to hold it weird, hold onto the cord at the same time I hold the phone.
Oh
Kinda-
shit!
Yeah. But
Hey,
anyway, the
Hey,
metal,
Huckleberry.
I started metal detecting in the mid '90s, and my cousin bought a big Garrett metal detector. It was a lot heavier, and maybe I can just share a little bit of what I know. Is I bought a cheap. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't their lowest end from Radio Shack, and it was called a Bounty Hunter detector. Well, the thing of it is, it just had 2 little 9-volt batteries. My cousin had one of those kind of lantern type batteries in his. His was an old model, and he said, "Oh, this is the best detector that ever." Yeah, your arm gets tired, and mine would seek just as deep as his, and the chirping noises they make, mine was a lot more distinct, depending on what type of metal it was. It had a discriminator. Now, since then, I've bought 2 other detectors since back in those days. The last one I bought was from Cabela's. It does not go as deep as my Bounty Hunter did from Radio Shack, or my cousin's Garrett. So you might. The thing about the Garretts, they've upgraded them. They're lighter weight, and they have really good discriminators on them. And Garrett has everything available that you're ever going to need, because you're going to want to buy other stuff besides just a detector. Like, you're going to want headphones. You got to wear some comfortable headphones, and you buy cheap headphones that are not for a detector. Keep in mind, you're going to be sweating. Your ears are going to be sweating and everything all day. These others are lighter weight headphones. You're going to want one of those. What Singularity was talking about, having a little wand. I bought a wand on Amazon for $25. I even saw them as low as $7.99.
Yeah, I think
So-
mine was like $39, and you can get them real cheap.
I
Some
never
get 'em.
I never even used a wand until this year. I've never had one until this year, and
Really?
I'm telling you, and it is great for sifting through stuff.
It is. You don't have to sit there and mess around with the big area. You can get right to it real quick and save a lot of time.
Well, you're going to stick that little spade in the ground. You're going to pull out some dirt, and you take the wand and you find out if the object is in that little pile of dirt you just pulled out, or it's still down in the hole and you got to go deeper. The wand helps for that. You could set your detector down and just use the wand and do all your sifting and everything with that wand, and it made a huge difference. I'm actually enjoying detecting a lot more because that one stupid little freaking $25 item I bought.
But
I have a
they're
wand
one of the
like that.
handiest things.
Little
Yeah.
orange wand, got a holster
Yep.
on it, battery
Yep.
operated, 9
Yep.
volt, whip it out.
Goes-
Yes, sir.
Goes around your wrist. The little holster goes
Yep.
around your wrist. Yep.
Yep. It's awesome. Absolutely love it. I'm detecting silver with it in veins. So I like that.
The time it saves, in my opinion, is
It's amazing. And you don't have to whip out this 20, 25 pound freaking thing, especially when you're doing some overhead stuff or you're doing something that's, requires to put your hand over your head.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Wand is the way to go, brother. It really is.
And
You don't have
you're
to stretch out your arms to try to use the whole detector in an area if you're kneeling down.
and you're going to go bumping along people's lawns and stuff. You might do some city boulevards. Some of those are where I found silver coins on city boulevards.
You bring it with you on your ATV.
Yeah, and I carry a paint scraper. That's what I do my digging with, and I pull a perfect square plug out of the freaking grass, and just and that's all I carry with me. Other guys get all complicated. I want to keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, hey, real quick, Emerald, you've known me
Yeah.
for a while. You got my actual emails. Can you verify for me that I go by either John or Johnny? That's my name. Max didn't believe me that's my name.
He doesn't believe
That's his
your
name.
name is Jonathan.
His name
Because
is John.
apparently Apparently, Max's name and is Johnny. He goes by Johnny also.
Everybody wants to be a John. Okay. He's lying. No, he's not. I mean, I wish he was. He lies about a lot of shit, but no, this one he's on point for.
Yeah, because Don's seen my email too. It's John on the beginning, and I go depending on who it is. I go by John or Johnny. So
And you can't you can't have a house without a John.
yeah. Oh, if you knew my last name and Emerald and Don both
See,
know
Max's
my last name on my email.
Max's fear is that you and him will be twins. The John brothers. I mean, I can see it now. The John brothers, the John twins, you and I, and that he will be, he will be the yin, not even the yin to your yang. I mean, you will both be like yang brothers, so to speak.
Well, look at my last name. You guys have both seen it. And think of John as a toilet, and then think of my last name as a brand. See what I mean? Now imagine growing up with that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
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 But yep, straight up, Max. I am.
It's
Johnny.
that line that just keeps going through my head from Men in Tights. From now on, all the toilets in England will be called Johns.
John. No. My middle name is not Earl, so I'm good there. My middle name starts with an R.
An R? Richard?
R. Close.
Because if you just took John and then Richard, which would be Dick.
John Dick. Actually, the short version, it's almost as funny, probably.
Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble.
My son.
Perfect in every way.
My son used to work at Dick's Sporting Goods. And I'm like, oh, great. Now you can tell everybody that you work for Dick's.
Damn it, Bill. I was taking a drink of coffee.
How am I going to tell that to people I know? My son works for Dick's. He doesn't work for him anymore.
That's horrible, but hilarious at the same time.
And then we got a Dick's supermarket over here too.
We'll work for Dick.
Wouldn't that be that'd be kind of rough? You work for Dick.
Oh. I know Ragged's first name. I just can't remember it. He told me once. I'm horrible at names. If you notice, like when I'm talking to people, like even Emerald, I'll go with M-E-M, or I'll shorten everything to keep all the names straight. Otherwise, I'll start to mix everything up.
There's probably I don't know if you ever. This guy's a bushcrafter over in Norway, and he's a bushcrafter over in Norway, and he does videos, and he goes by the name of Bjorn Bull Hansen. And anyway, he was talking about prepping and homesteading, and he had a guest from England on there. And damn it, Wiz, you ain't got nothing on this guy, man. He's doing all the same stuff. No, he's doing all the same stuff. And he's talking, they were really having a good conversation about, acquiring land. A lot of people that are having a hard time acquiring land talking about getting people to work together. Maybe you find 10 friends or something and you all chip in and buy some land. You know, if it's 10 people, at least you own a tenth of that land. But some of the land is very expensive. It's a big parcel of ground, and it's difficult for a lot of people to ever even think of acquiring. And then he was mentioning, you know, a lot of people that are paying rent and everything, how to get out of that lifestyle of paying rent and being part of a system that only takes from us and never gives back.
Right.
And he said, you know, mentioned like living in a van. He did this. He lived in a van for 3 years so that he could buy land.
Right.
Ragged. You said it's pronounced or it's different in British. I grew up with my grandparents. I went by Johan with my grandparents because of their native tongue. So, yeah, it's amazing how John can be different or Johnny can be different in so many different languages. But yeah, to my grandparents, I was always Johan.
It could be Juan.
Yep.
Or it could be Ian.
That's
Ian,
okay,
yeah.
Max. I do high for all of us. I do high enough for the rest of us. For you, for everybody else. Don't worry about it. I got you, brother.
Okay.
No,
I got you back. I got you back. I don't
So-
do it, but I got you back.
So I want to ask you all a question. If you're not aware of it, on December 30th, in India, they had all across the news how freaked out they were about 182 robotic robots armed to the teeth put on the Tibetan border to India. My friend that lives over there friggin' told me it was all over the news there. And I, of course, looked up the channel on YouTube, found it, and the story is definitely there. It's scary as crap.
So you want to know what we think about it? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
What do you?
I-
Everybody.
Okay, so within the context, I'd love to discuss this. Absolutely love to discuss this. So within the context of the greater Indian-Chinese border skirmish currently in the 20th century, or
Mhm.
let's just say in the last 10 years,
Okay.
that's a big thing because most of their border skirmishes have been unarmed. There are no weapons, automatic weapons. There are no guns allowed along the border on both sides. That's 100-year-old treaty that so far has held up. So that's
Right.
why there's a big pissing contest about why there's 125 highly armed dog machine guns on the
Yeah.
fucking Tibetan border.
Yeah, this was on Gravitas, which is reputable.
I read that. They're one of my
Gravitas,
news sources,
yeah.
and they're reputable. Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
and they basically said China deploys robots on the border, including Palestine, is taking arms from China to put it on their border. And they're both working towards an AI so that everything's autonomous.
To be honest, I think India's done dicking around. They're
Oh, they're
tired
gonna-
of being
they'll
coached
nuke.
on.
They'll nuke. They have
I
no
don't-
problems with that.
I don't know if they'll nuke, because if they nuke, it's really close for one thing to their land. So I don't see that as a viability. But I think they see themselves as, because you got to figure Indians are very proud people, and a lot of them think they're military because they have a billion 5 or whatever people. They really see their military as one of the superior ones in the world. So
Yeah,
Well,
they're not-
nuking doesn't mean the biggest, big
Not only do
wipeout
the Indians,
for a mile.
not only do the Indians see their military as being one of the superior in the world, but also Jane's fighting. Jane sees the Indian military as literally being the third best in the world. And the
Correct.
Chinese are not the second.
No.
right. I think
Chinese are
Russia
like
is number 2.
12. Russians are second. We're the first.
Yep.
Well, China announced, of course, on India News, China announced that American the Raptors and all that can be easily shot down by their new technology. Dare it, you try it. That's basically what they said.
Yep. I wish them well when the Raptors start
Yeah.
flying over. I really do. I wish them well with that technology.
Bumblebee, for crying out loud. It shows up like a bumblebee on any type of modern radar. It shows up like a bumblebee, for crying out loud.
I
That's
also
going to be
want
hard
to
to
take this
shoot.
opportunity from a intelligence community or an IC perspective. I want to take this opportunity to point out to you that the 180 dogs armed with machine guns on the border are running wirelessly.
Dream
And
well.
I really,
very much.
and with that said, that means that somebody like
Sure.
me can reach in and take over control of those 180 robots. So
That is
as soon as that happens, and if you think that I'm really good, you ought to see some of the big brains at fucking NSA who will take over that shit immediately as soon as it goes operational. So
And I didn't mean
Fred.
that as I didn't mean that as sarcastic. That's horrifying that you could. I mean, that's horrifying that it's a possibility.
No, it's not just a possibility; it's a reality. It's now a technique of warfare.
That's horrifying.
That's the way it is, brother. I'm sorry.
You know,
It won't be a new
for,
James
like,
Bond. It's going to be a Jamie or a the Janice Bond or some shit. You know, his daughter.
autonomous equipment and semi-autonomous equipment are nothing new, because I recall our coastlines, even though it may not be visible, are set up with a lot of semi-autonomous gunnery, right?
And define semi-autonomous. I mean, the simple fact is the computers don't pull the triggers. Humans pull the triggers. As a matter of fact, the UI of all weapon systems has within it a trigger mechanism. All of them, from the big guns to the missiles to the fucking ICBMs even, have a trigger grip that you pull a trigger mechanism. No shit. It's a psychological thing.
Isn't there a what do they call it, hot something or whatever, that if it ever came to a time they could set it to
you have things like CWIS,
anything that comes in.
Right. So you have things like CWIS, that is you turn on CWIS, close in weapon systems. You have things like CWIS that you set up pre-programmed. You say, swing from this area to this area, shoot these rounds, kill anything that's this big, or tracks this in this range. Right. So then if you turn it on auto, bang, that's exactly what it does. It looks for anything that meets your criteria and kills it dead. Really,
just somebody has to set it, and
somebody sets it up, somebody monitors it, somebody sits behind it, and makes sure that all those kills are good kills. But if you're in Missile Swarm, I mean, if you're in DEFCON 4 and you're looking for a SAG group, if you don't have your CWIS in fucking auto, then you're a fool.
Right.
If what I just said makes sense to you.
And to me, I probably had my definitions wrong, but to me, that sounds semi-autonomous.
It is semi-autonomous, but that's one of the rarities. You don't have missile systems that do that. You have like theater weapon systems. Iron Dome, for instance, does that. But it'll come back and say, okay, something has been fired off, and you have, a half a millisecond to respond to it. Well, the only way you're going to get that is the computer to respond.
Yep.
Okay.
You still have to arm the device, arm the weapon.
And I did not know this until recently, but apparently we have non-nuclear ICBMs that will launch, go into the atmosphere, come down, and then break into dozens of smaller missiles and can hit individual targets each. What the heck are those? That just sounds...
I really want to explain. Let me have this one, please.
Okay.
That's called a MERV. That's called a MERV. Mike India Romeo Victor. Multiple independent re-entry vehicles. We've been able to MERV warheads up to about 24. So each one of the ICBMs that launch, once they reach ballistic apex, then they release MERVs. And then those MERVs are then independently guided to independent targets. And yes, they're independent warheads, and they kill motherfuckers at large scale.
A city block each is what they're saying. Holy crap.
No.
Yo.
I mean, that may be a conventional weapon. The nuclear version of that kills cities at a time.
Oh crap. Or the nuclear one can. Yes.
Right. There's not one huge nuclear weapon. It's just many smaller tacticals.
Yeah,
It's a big launch platform, and then smaller warheads.
Now, Don,
What
didn't we learn that down from the Germans in 1917 when they launched mustard gas and shells that had multiple shells inside it to ensure maximum spread?
We learned a lot from the German scientists about ballistics and various and sundry other ways to kill people. Yes, they were quite good at it.
Well, it's funny now that basically the gas, the mustard gas that's used, then they added nitrogen to it. Now that's what's the baseline for chemotherapy. So the shit that used to kill people is now being used to cure and save people, or at least save people.
Okay, Dawn and Emerald, I've got a question. What the heck are they using in these non-nuclear MIRVs then that are so potent?
Well, think about it. Think about the simple physics, and you're a smart kid. Think about the simple physics of something moving at 12 times the speed of sound with a kinetic weight of approximately 100 pounds.
So it's all based on a kinetic warhead, not an explosive warhead.
No. You've just asked you've asked about the non-nuclear version.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you about a non-nuclear version that I'm aware of, and it's a kinetic version.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean to exclude any high explosives or any other version of explosives, warheads, separation that occurs in any other level of Army or military or DoD sanctioned ballistic missile that I'm aware of. Disclaimer here.
This is opinion, and you guys might have some information on it.
The rod of
in
God.
your opinion, do you think the rod of God was ever built?
No comment.
I'm sure of it, but don't ask me. You know, when the shiny shoes guys show up at the fucking front door, I'll deny the shit out of it.
Okay. Would that be? It'd have to be tungsten, right?
Whoa! You didn't ask who built it, did you?
Right.
Well, I hope we did.
I just want you to be clear. I wasn't claiming that the United States in any way, shape, form, or fashion built any kind of weapon system such as that.
Yeah.
Disclaimer here. You know what? I got a really long disclaimer and an NDA that I'm going to have you sign, Singularity, before we have any further discussions about this.
I signed those. I try to avoid those because those lock me down too much.
Trying to get Max the link here. He wants to get up and get some of this, have some of this fun too.
Now, see, this type of stuff, I don't know much about. I've read a lot about it, but I don't know about the actual existence of something. So, I mean, it sounds novel, it sounds cool, and it sounds, I mean, with like the rod of God, it's something we could literally do with our technology. We could have probably done it in the 80s, to be honest. So when you talk about like the Star Wars with Reagan and everything, it really makes me consider that that's one of the things they're pushing. Imagine me signing. Yes, I'm signing that non-disclosure X. There we go.
Okay. So with that said, here's the thing you need to understand about the rod of God. It's a kinetic weapon. So that means that it's nice, but it's now 20 years behind laser weapons or energy weapons that's currently the shit across the board. Why? Reloadable, instant accuracy. So to have a rod of God, right now, and that be a defensive platform or offensive, or it wouldn't be a good defensive platform. Let me stop from the asking questions and start making the assertions. it would be a horrible defensive platform because of its A, age, B, slow speed, C, non-reloadability.
Right.
So
Right.
if I had a platform that I wanted to make a weapon system in space, would I make it a rod of God or would I make it a laser energy weapon?
Right.
I would make it a laser energy weapon. Why? For the three things that I just told you about. And I'm
Right.
just throwing it out there. Okay. I'm not a
And
I'm not a government entity. No, we're working for most watch episodes of Gunsmoke. Okay.
And if I remember right, they said that the modern rails that they're testing can actually reach equivalent speeds, right? The modern rail guns that they're testing.
Rail guns. Yeah. Mach 7.
Okay.
No, not equivalent light speeds. No. Mach 7, Mach 12 are still fucking slow compared to light.
But the equivalent of like what the rod of God would be.
What the what?
On reentry. The rod of God or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's basic kinetics. That's mass times weight kind of thing. So if you're 100 pounds, you can only achieve so much speed. The fact is, they could still get seven times the speed of Mach 7. But that's still 7 times 7. That's 4,900 miles an hour versus 186,000 miles a second.
What is that maximum velocity called?
Terminal velocity.
Terminal velocity, and everything depending on not only your weight but your the amount of mass that you take up, and I think that's why they use
the sheer destruction level is much. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm trying, man. Try again, Max. I need to. I'm just trying. Okay, for a bit. Here we go. Somebody's coming in. Who's that?
Because I got a question about Merv.
Max. Still on mute, brother.
You made it, man.
Yes, sir. Hola.
Welcome back.
Como está, my brother?
Muy bien.
Railguns mounted on satellites. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Go ahead, Max. Your turn, brother.
No. Y'all continue. This isn't my subject.
Okay.
It's not mine either. I'm actually just getting opinions and whatnot. It's something that interests me, but it's definitely not my strong suit.
But there's no detectable guidance. There's no detectable fuel for propulsion. It's virtually, and the kinetic stuff is much more destructive than the laser stuff. Lasers require targets. They now that they can't be seen.
So when you want to talk offshore, yeah. So when you want to talk 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, kinetics is where you want to be. You got a nice rail gun. You can put it on a ship, and you can really wail on. I mean, what's the word? Naval bombardment, and even naval defense is great for rail guns. But the problem with rail guns is they still require SAVITs or rails, or not rails, but the
launchers.
No, not launchers. The launching is free. It's powderless launching. You can launch as many as you can carry. The problem is you need to carry so many.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
SAVITs is what they shoot. Metal SAVITs. But with that said, you have to carry so many. The reason laser weapons, laser energy weapons are so much better is because they have created generators, marine generators on these even small vessels that can pull out 300, 400 megawatts of energy, enough to fire off multiple bursts, multiple quick. So they've made these generators smaller, and that means that they can push more power through these LAWS weapon systems. Anyway, I'll shut up now.
Now, with all those capacitors on those rail guns, correct me if I'm wrong. If you were in the wrong place and that somehow got pinpointed to your area, would that not fry you in an instant with all that power that's needed?
I don't see how you could possibly do what you just said to do.
Oh, I'm sure there's
and how that's possible.
it's really not. You'd have to hook yourself up to wires, but that's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
is the amount of
you'd have to show me how stupid you'd have to get to bypass all of the. I mean, that's kind of the question I'm asking.
Well, I'm sure we could find somebody to, like licking the battery to get
Okay.
somebody to.
I mean, if you're talking about lick the battery kind of mentality, yes, people are. Yeah.
Hey, Don,
Yes, dear.
take a look
Satellite imagery.
of
Zoom out a little more.
Groom Lake.
Groom Lake. Okay.
Okay. However,
Is it north-south
wait,
oriented?
hold on.
Okay.
I'm trying to. I just had it here a second ago. There was
We're not
something.
going aliens, are we?
No, look right here.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the facility way over here. Look right here. Boop, boop, boop. Let me get in here a little closer. Where was I getting? It keeps changing every time I pull back out. That's what she said. Oh, where the heck is it? Right? There it is. There it is.
Hey, Huckleberry.
Look at this. You know what that is, right? That's got to be. That looks like the picture. That looks like the picture that guy drew for who said he worked at S4, and that's the only hidden.
You're talking about the same guy that says there's aliens over at the other area.
Yeah, but what's weird is that look at this road. It connects to the facility, but it's got no. I mean, it's right there. I'm trying to see what it would look like if you were. I doubt it'll let you go there.
Well, it looks like it's in a very high ridge area, and it looks like that road.
Oh, remember
switchbacks in it.
Remember, he said they were surrounded by mountains and.
Yeah. That's got a nice little bowl shape to it. It does.
I had a person legitimately tell me that the only reason that they guard Area 51 and all these as much as they do, the only reason could be is that there's aliens there. It's like, well, no, it could be that some of our highest military, information, our highest military contracts are being worked out there, and intelligence that they're I mean, some of the aircraft that they're developing now that we don't even know of, they're keeping that secret, and that's why they protect those areas so much.
And those are
100% agree with you.
Those are dirt trails. That's a dirt trail.
Donkey trails.
Donkey trail, literally through the ridge, which you'd never be able to see anything, and then you end up here between two mountains. Kind of cool. I just thought I'd share that. So,
Dallas, if you can keep lifelong secrets, big lifelong secrets, then go for it. But from what I understand, you have got to. I mean, there's no discussing with your spouse. There's some things, a lot of stuff that you cannot ever tell anybody. And I mean, I'm talking.
Your clearances don't have fucking time frame. They don't say, for the next 5 years, you gotta do this. Your clearance, when you swear in, you don't say, for the next 7 years, I won't talk about this. No, sorry, that's not the way it works. You won't talk about this. Ever.
You're going away to the deepest, darkest cell you can imagine. If you do,
go the other way. Go up. Go up. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, if you look at his drawing that they sketched back in the 70s, he described 2 cement pads leading to some kind of whatever, and it's sand color, so you'd never be able to see it from a satellite. And they didn't. Google hasn't blocked this out.
That's why I'm suspect of it right there, is because Google hasn't blacked that out. So it's not important enough for somebody over at some intelligence agency to say, oops, we made a mistake. We should black this out.
Yeah.
I got to go fresh my coffee. I'll be right back.
Now, where's this at?
Groom Lake.
Oh my God.
Right over
Dallas.
there, Area 51.
Okay. So
And
My theory on Area 51 is possibly back in the day they may have used it for nefarious purposes that we know
Probably.
nothing about. But I believe that nowadays it's just used as a what's the word I'm looking for?
Look at my left hand so you don't know what my right hand's doing.
Exactly, Shane. You read my mind. Exactly. That's exactly
That's
what
a
I think it's
version.
being used for.
I
That's a
agree.
version.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
The
That's
stuff at Patterson and Wright Air Force Base and stuff like that. There's a lot more there than there is there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think even when the suspicion was getting out in the public, I think whatever was there was moved somewhere else. And the only reason it came out to the public was because nothing was there anymore. If there was,
Oh,
even
exactly.
I'm not, and I mean top secret stuff, but
the
whatever.
second they declared that it actually exists, there was nothing there to find. It was gone.
Yeah, they probably moved everything.
Oh, yeah,
from-
it definitely was for sure.
That's like this whole storming Area 51. It's like y'all are storming probably an empty thing, or it's probably rented out to corporations for storage right now. to be
Yeah,
honest.
something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun.
Manufacturing facilities for things coming out from DARPA. DARPA's all over it, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
I
they
got
covered.
you.
They covered this up.
Manufacturing that's secret, but not like get your
Right.
ass shot secret if you're
No, still probably got that kind of control on it, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just like I said, as I occasionally, look around, and I was just looking around, and then all of a sudden I just started, going over to the ridges, and then all of a sudden I saw that little oddity. So I was just like, huh, what's that from? You know what I mean? So there we go. That was
One thing, Dallas, I know for a fact is trust me, when they know people's GPAs, they know people's scores on tests, they know a lot of stuff about individuals, and they will find you. If you find them and apply for a job, you're probably gonna have to be a desk jockey somewhere.
Good. I hope they give me a job.
I was told by a specific person in chat to bring up puppies and gumdrops. I guess we need to change the subject.
What subject do they want?
I mean, puppies and gumdrops. You pick one. I mean, I don't.
I could
Pick
do
a different
puppies.
subject beyond puppies and gumdrops. So
I got puppies. I don't know about no gumdrops.
I don't know.
Alien gumdrops. Doo-doo.
There you go.
Oh Lord.
45-pound dogs.
I'll argue about anything, honestly.
Yeah, you big babies.
what I tell everybody, I'm pretty opinionated usually.
My thing is, too, guys, my sense of humor may be different than a lot of people's, so I don't get offended easily, and I sometimes may say things that people think is offensive or whatever, but I don't. I mean to joke about it, I don't care.
Oh no, he's turning into Sing.
I was just gonna say,
No,
was-
it's not Sting. That's got nothing. That's the way. That's just the way I am. You can't. It's hard to offend me. It really is. I'm not offended by much at all.
I was just gonna say, trust me, they're gonna be used to you because you just described me, dude. So they're
Yeah,
gonna
you're
be
not
used
going to hurt my feelings. So I don't really care.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't get offended very easily.
Yeah,
I do get the only my downfall is I get overly protective of friends and stuff.
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
absolutely. I get that. I do.
But yeah, I saw Emerald's face. I was like, oh, here we go.
like
You know,
last night with Don, I was like, I know this is gonna start something. It ain't gonna take long. I just wanted to start some shit.
Dude, I've gone so far as to have Emerald and Canoe tell me, okay, you got to chill out. Quit
Stop
taking people.
apologizing.
I enjoy everybody's opinion. Like I said, I even though I don't get on here much, I do lurk a lot. even though I don't say much in chat, and I like hearing everybody's different side of the story, you know. So
Oh yeah, it's
No.
all good.
I agree, and it's all a perspective that could lead us to the fuller picture.
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not. Is Don here? There he is. Not all of us can be as have as much know it all. No, what's the word? Conceit. No. I'm joking, Don.
Arrogant is the word you're looking
Arrogant
for.
when you know you're
Damn it, I
right.
forgot
The
everything.
word
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking for is arrogant.
Yeah.
The word I
To
would
the
use would
end,
be
no matter what.
confidence.
I call it assurance, a self-assurance. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're confident in what you're saying is right, and you know it's right. You've experienced it's right. You get kind of confident about that, and you kind of stick to it.
And I got no problem with that, but I'm gonna give you shit about it. I
That's
will
okay.
definitely give you shit about it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
and-
know it all my damn life somehow, and one thing or another.
Yeah, and
Don't think for 2
the majority,
seconds that, you're the first. Go ahead, man.
the majority of you are older than me, so I mean, I get experience. Regardless of whose experience it is, I learned from whether it's mine or your guys. So we all have different ways of viewing stuff, and that's why I enjoy
Exactly.
watching it.
Well,
We've all lived a different life.
before I would say anything ever to give you a ration of shit, I want to take this opportunity to personally, face to face, thank you for the contribution that you made yesterday and the way you stepped up, and that's fucking
That's
awesome.
fine.
It's just
That's
all that
fine.
is. It's just, dude, you're the man. I'm just a fucking slack ass here. You're the guy. So
Thank you.
anyway,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Well,
for
and like I
everything.
said, just because I'm not here, I'm still here. I'm still
Oh,
around.
fuck yeah, you're well known now. That's for
I'm still
damn sure.
around. I'm still around.
I know Don well enough to where he's gonna say that being said, and then he's gonna let you have it.
No, I'm not
Please.
there yet.
I'll take it.
Not
I
there
want it.
Oh,
Not there
okay, I got.
Fuck yeah.
I'm hoping to at least piss Don off at least one point in our relationship for him to do that to me. I really am.
He's got this wild vein in his
It'll happen.
forehead that
Just it can happen.
Yeah. My grandma raised me tough, so I learned to enjoy those moments.
Anyway,
But
I've said all I need to say here. Thank you very much for taking the time and your patience.
Yes, sir.
okay. Has anybody seen what's going on in the news? Is there anything out there that would be even
What
worth
respect?
talking about?
Aside from the consistent Democratic attacks on the GOP and Trump for this made-up January 6th horse shit,
Right.
there really is nothing in. Listen, it's the left's. The left people, the left-leaning fucktards, are screaming January 6th, January 6th, January 6th, and the right, the Fox Newses and everybody else in the world are saying, well, look at the left-leaning fucktards and what idiots they are. So there's really nothing else going on in the fucking news
Right.
that I'm aware of. The Chinese continue to attack Taiwan in their airspace. The Russians continue to build up troops on the Ukrainian border. The Israelis have not only crossed over into Syria and started bombing the fuck out of Iranian proxy positions, but they've also threatened that they will go into Tehran and start bombing the fuck out of nuclear facilities and leadership facilities. Let's see what else.
I learned
Did I miss
something.
anything?
Well,
I learned. Oh, my bad.
the Israelis, didn't they make a treaty or something with Saudi Arabia for all that?
The Israelis have been making friends throughout the Middle East now for the last 18 months since Trump. Yes, they did just sign a friendship treaty with the Saudis, which is huge.
Yes.
Before that, they've signed not only friendship treaties, but also economic pacts with the UAE, with Bahrain, with Qatar, with
Qatar, I was gonna say,
various
yeah.
and sundry other Middle Eastern financial powerhouses to do various things, including sell weapons to.
Yeah.
I learned a very cool fact that Taiwan is they're little, but they're a little powerhouse.
They're not a
China
little
will
powerhouse.
not,
They're a huge powerhouse. Yes,
China will not walk over them like they think they will at all.
that is correct. That is correct. They've been buying superior American technology now for 30, 40 years and training on it
Hundreds.
intensively.
Right.
Yeah.
Hundreds of billions of dollars in it too. And they're not playing around.
Also, the Japanese
Right.
do not
Well, the
in any way, shape,
Yeah.
form, or fashion shortchange the Japanese in the Taiwan-Chinese equation. As
Didn't the
soon
Jap-
as China steps across that line, the Japanese are jonesing for a fight with the Chinese.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah.
jonesing for a fight with the fucking Chinese.
even when the Chinese or the Japanese were considered a defensive force, they packed a wallop with that defensive
Oh, yeah.
force.
Yeah. They've gotten much
But-
better since then.
Didn't Japan just make a law or whatever about making gold a currency?
I don't know. Don't know that.
I'm not familiar with that.
Right. Well, we know the UAE definitely deals gold.
Oh yeah. The Middle East is a gold powerhouses.
Right. In fact, they don't even. UAE doesn't really have its own currency either. It's just gold.
No, they have the dinar.
They have the dinar.
They do
Okay.
have the dinar,
Well, that's based on gold.
but it's backed in gold. Yes, sir.
One thing, and I've noticed this online. A lot of people seem to forget history. They think that land mass and population will make people powerful. And throughout our history, from Great Britain to Japan, small islands have nearly conquered, more area than anyone else. I mean, I think the British Empire at one time still lies as maybe second to Rome, if second to Rome.
You mean as far as size is concerned? No.
Yeah,
No.
as
Rome
area they
Rome never
conquered.
got as big as area conquered. It was fucking without a doubt British. I mean, think
Right.
one country alone, India. Not to mention Canada, Australia,
A lot of
New
places in
Zealand.
Africa.
All these places which are now commonwealths were all first populated by the British and ruled by the British. And so these are massive amounts of land that, I'm sorry, Europe never even got close to.
And
Romans
people forget
never
about
got close to.
the Dutch, and they may have not done it in
Dutch been doing it. Yep.
not the normal way, but with the Dutch trading company and stuff like that, man, their expansionism was massive.
Think about all those places that were Dutch that were based down South Africa, Botswana, all those places in Africa, Zimbabwe,
Right.
all of them massive, huge places. They're all Dutch. I don't know what populated, discovered. What's the word I'm looking for here?
I think populated accurately.
What
Well, I mean, somebody did the goat.
Fire is
No, what the heck?
it's Irish stepping on rats.
Who's choking the cat?
Right.
What and
I'm gonna jump off of here.
Oh, my bad. I'll let you talk,
Oh, you know what
Bill.
we need to do? You know what we need to do? I was looking for, I saw a video today. 8,000 year, no, it was 100,000-year-old man in Paleolithic man. Yeah. 100,000-year-old man. What was he doing? You know, how many of them were there? Turns out there were 6 Homo species at the 100,000-year mark. Anyway,
Was there 6 or 7? Because because there was, I can't name them all, but I know Denisovians were one of them. But
Denisovians were one of them. They talked around, what they talked around was the Neanderthals and basically how they were or were not considered a subspecies at one time and whatever. But it was a very interesting video, and I think it should be viewed here some nights and then discussed. I do believe that because you would love it.
You know, actually, that's an awesome point. I think if we did do things like that, or even articles and had discussions on them, I think we'd draw on a crap load of people.
So you're talking about how many different subhuman species there were?
Yes, sir. At the 100,000-year mark. 8. Okay.
8.
See, there you go.
Yes.
One more up.
There's a lot that the earlier ones are harder to remember because they're weirder name. Obviously, we know the Neanderthals and Erectus and Sapiens, but there's weird name ones. Soloensis.
Right, the ones that were like on the Java island there. There were ones that were just. Then there was a little pygmy there that was a short one that was down in some. Yeah. I saw that.
They found one. They found one in Asia, and the only DNA proof they got it is the tip of a pinky bone, and it's different from everything else, and that's the only evidence. But it's enough DNA evidence to prove it's nothing like, or well, you know, it's different enough to be its own subspecies. That's awesome. I mean, that's science right there.
Yeah, that's science. That's the shit we love to talk about here.
Yes.
And I've been eyeballing a few of those clips recently. Like I'll go into Yahoo and I'll do 8,000-year-old man and see what comes up. And recently I'm doing 100,000-year-old man and seeing what comes up. And it's pretty cool. There's a bunch of video out there on it, and I'm learning a lot about it, about man, about when were we actually civilized? You know, they say that we weren't actually civilized until 50,000 years. But I mean, who now is civilized a subjective definition?
Yeah, exactly. Civilized could mean there's many different opinions of what that could mean for sure.
Bingo.
I mean, at what point did humans bury their dead? You know, stuff like that. There's a lot of different things you can consider civilized, and it doesn't have to be all of them at once. It could be one of many things.
Absolutely. And the point is that all of these things, when we start looking at migrations into of these species into Europe, for instance, from Africa, they only talk about 6,000 years before Christ, or 6,000 years BC, basically is when these migrations began from the Fertile Crescent areas to, say, the European areas or to the Euro-Asian areas. And that's only 6,000 BC. That's only 8,000 years ago. Really not that far. And not even talking about, not even taking into account various and sundry other subspecies. For instance, those subspecies found down in Malaysia and in Java, and those smaller, little, tiny, infinitesimally small species that have been found other places. And so my point here is real simple. My question is simple. Did we originate in Africa? Is that the cradle of mankind? Go ahead.
I think, oh, my bad. Go ahead, man.
You guys get into this subspecies of humans and species of humans, but my question is, where does that fit into religion with you guys?
Oh my God, I wouldn't even try to bridge that.
Well, I mean, to me, that's a big selling point for all this. I mean, you can't go one way and not the other. I mean, I'm just trying. That's a point I try to understand when it comes to this stuff.
I truly believe a lot of it fortifies. I mean, maybe not the subspecies. That's a tricky one, but a lot of other stuff fortifies. Man, I am going to kick Irish right in the dick. If he,
I just sit back here looking for the right sound as you're talking about subhumans and all that. You know, then I find this one. I'm like,
was that blunt enough for you, Don?
Daddy.
Oh, good Lord. No, and I've heard you guys talk about religion. I've been clear with y'all what I am. I mean, I've had somebody tell me. I've had somebody tell me what I am, but I know what I am, and you're not going to tell me what I am and what I ain't. I know I'm on the fence, but you're not going to tell me I'm an atheist because I'm not.
Right.
So this is the conversations that I like to have to make me understand where everybody is coming from.
yeah, you're
I like to think of it.
I hate being told where I am. I
Yeah,
hate being
exactly.
told
I don't
what
like it.
am.
You know what? I
So
was going to
these-
say something about all that. If you look at the overall existence and development of the life that was here and the life that is now.
Yes.
I think that 5,000 year Christian existence of the planet and all that from creation thing
Mm-hmm.
is more of an awareness of the creation acknowledgement. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't smart enough to figure it out till about 5,000 or 6,000 years ago.
Okay, well, here goes the neighborhood because the fucking Woodhead
Yes.
has arrived. Professor
Oh.
Woodhead
Oh, there he
has
is.
arrived.
Yeah.
So
Here-
he's
here's-
going to come up here and tell us just how
There-
fucked up we
There he
are.
is. There
Or
he
better
is.
yet, how fucked up I am.
It sounds like something an atheist would say. That's what he just said.
Right. Coming from that perspective, that's what I think about that. How religion
Max-
plays into that. If you
And
come
one
from that
thing I've learned
perspective-
about,
Yeah.
oh, my bad. One thing I've learned about Woody Max is I think he's pretty much like us.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know he is. I don't.
Yeah.
Believe me. I get
Give
it. I get it. I
everybody
do.
shit.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
Just-
He likes to get a rise out of you. and
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah.
they just shoot at you when you jump up, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
You guys thought you were screwed with just me, and now there's three of us. So
Oh, good. Yeah. The second Woody jumped in and said, "You're just an atheist with no conviction," I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What the hell?"
That's
Rock on, man.
Yeah. That's why I said I knew he was bald. Second he come in with that picture with the hair over his face, I knew he was bald. I knew it.
Right? I ain't too far. I still got some fuzz up here, but it's kind of thin in the back.
Oh,
no comment.
So back to religion and different human subspecies. Where do you guys stand with that? You guys that believe in what you believe in. I want to understand y'all's theory on that. Where you think, where your mind is with that.
Say that again.
With the religion and talking about the different human and human subspecies and different species of human. Where does that stand in with religion? Where does that tie in?
Well, from the life that was here, the clay,
Mm-hmm.
the Creator added and created us.
Okay, so Adam and Eve was Homo sapien.
not necessarily, in my opinion. It doesn't necessarily state that. It could have been one of the precursor
Races, yeah.
races. I mean, it never says, it says man, woman, basically male, female. It never really says, well, for one thing, we didn't have the term Homo sapien,
No, well, no, we didn't, obviously.
But there's
Yes,
really
Don.
no distinction.
Okay, Don.
I was going to say, go ahead, Don. Yep, saw your hand.
Yes, Don.
So my question would be, when you refer to Adam and Eve, which particular book of or version of Adam and Eve are you referring to? Are you referring to Adamo, the Mesopotamian, God who came, 5,000, 8,000 years before Christ? Or you referring to the Hindu Indian out of the Indus Valley version of Adam and Eve, which was actually the version of Adam and Eve that was incorporated into the Bible? So my question then is, which version of Adam and Eve are you referring to?
I'm referring to the Adam and Eve when you go to church as a Presbyterian, Baptist, whatever you may be. I'm referring to that Adam and Eve. I mean, it's the only one I know.
And here's kind of the problem with that. The problem with that is that version of Adam and Eve, and somebody jump in and tell me I'm wrong when I am, that version of Adam and Eve that you're reading in the Bible and grow up with is actually derived from multiple versions of Adam and Eve in multiple cultures before Christianity.
And I get that, but
the thing
No,
that
go ahead.
tosses that into some confusion is the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I know you can't. They were unable to carbon date the Dead Sea Scrolls, but things found in the caves with the Dead Sea Scrolls were carbon dated that put them back far enough to where a lot of it was competing knowledge could have been competing knowledge at the time. And that's one of those interesting things. It's just like with the flood myth. If you look at a lot of this stuff where they found, and I could be wrong too, but if you go back to and look into the Dead Sea Scrolls and look at some of the items, and there was like brushes with horsehair and stuff like that were kept because it was so dry and it was just basically buried in sand. So much of that was that a lot of stuff didn't deteriorate like it normally would have anywhere else, and they're able to get stuff. And a lot of these are also religious studies. They weren't done with scientific groups, so there's conflicting reports there too, which doesn't mean that the religious scientists are wrong or the others were wrong. It's just there's some conflicting, and sometimes that's the unfortunate part, that I think science has become its own religion and doesn't like anybody to prove them wrong. But going back to that, I think it's kind of like with the flood myths, and I shouldn't say myths because we know now it's accurate. Geologically, we've proven it and everything. There's so many of these things that do line up, and that's why I truly think that a lot of, like Don was saying, with the Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Christianity, I say Christianity came later because Christians, Christ, we follow the teachings of Christ. So you should say Judaism. So Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism almost seem like, if you put a lot of those together, I still think they're almost pieces to the puzzle. And I think there's some out there we've yet to discover, to be honest. My opinion.
What's up? It's all you, brother.
Okay. I just wanted to inject as I listened to all that. Well, like I went to basically a Catholic high school, got kicked out on a couple papers on this subject. So my title of my first paper freshman year was God Made a Mistake. That was my first paper, first year high school, Catholic high school. God made a mistake. Priest had me outline why I felt God made a mistake. And I said, well, and this is before computers, internet, and grabbing information means you had to go to the library, index it, Dewey Decimal, the whole 9 yards. When you're all done with that, yeah, basically I basically said God made a mistake because if you read the Sanskrit version, not the John, like the King James version 1 and 2, I go in Sanskrit, it's quite clear on the 7 days of creation story. On the sixth day in Sanskrit, it says, let us make men and women in our image. Let them be like us. Let them control like us. Let them be like gods like us.
When did you go to high school?
1982.
The tablets, when did they become publicly translated?
In the Catholic Church.
He's not that old. He's not that old. Watch that shit.
Yeah, watch it. I'm not that old.
No.
Promise
When
you.
did they become publicly, not translated, but publicly
You mean the
translated?
Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah. Dead Sea
Not the Dead Sea Scrolls. No,
early
no.
Sanskrit
Sanskrit
stone tablets.
Because a lot of that was held up in science for years.
Correct. So now I went ahead and took it into context. So I said, if my question was simple, is day 6 represented in chapter 2, which is an extended version of day 6, or is day 6 when they, God, whatever, basically said, let us make men and women in our image and let's basically give them the powers of gods. And then they, after they were done, they took a break. Well, after a while, when he woke up from his break, that's how I'm making it simple. It was very detailed, but basically when God woke up and he looked what he'd done, he went, oh shit, these guys have gone mad. I'm going to start over again. So let me go ahead and make a little garden, and I'm going to make a man. I'm going to get some clay, breathe life into him again. And I'm going to make a woman because he's lonely. You can do everything you want. I'm like the landlord now. God's a landlord. Listen, do as I say. Don't do anything else, and you will live an eternal, everlasting life. If you fail me, you'll be banned to eternity outside the walls of this Eden. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, everybody's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And I go, well, then, they screwed up and they got kicked out. And then they made Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel. And then they sent Cain up and he went to another kingdom and met with more people. Well, where the hell were they from? Well, I said, those people are from day 6. Those are the ones pretty much like the Nephilim, the, Anunnaki,
Right.
and all these beings that were created by God or the gods or whatever you want to, I'm saying whatever you want to call it. See, I'm on a different philosophy level now. I'm in the plasma consciousness level of shit now.
No, I'm right there with you.
May I interject real quick?
Yeah, of course.
One thing with Sanskrit, and there's multiple versions of translation, and that is such a tricky thing. I don't know if anybody's got it right, but see, I'm a firm believer that I don't even think we're 100% accurate on Egyptian hieroglyphs. I think we've adopted one certain.
Well, if you look at the only if you look at the only elements, there's 4 elements in our known universe that we're aware of: solid, we have liquid, we have gas, and then we have plasma. That's it. The universe is made of 89% plasma. The rest is what's left over. So, and plasma reacts. Plasma is light. It's photons gone crazy. And light adjusts itself to the viewer. And it is a conduit. It connects. It's broadband. And because it has 2 equal particles, no matter how far away they are apart, they're drawn to each other, but at the same time, they're aware of each other. And that's in a plasma state. So you think about that, I believe in plasma consciousness, meaning God is, in all essence, we don't know. It's ignorant of us to even try to think about it. That's basically what I was trying to say. It's ignorant for a human being or any being that is not on that level to even think about it. It's like asking an ant to make you a cup of coffee. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that it's electric universe. Electric is what.
Yeah, electricity is
everything.
plasma. Electricity is plasma.
Everything.
The crap that's going off in your brain right now
Nothing
is
could
electrical
exist.
voltage, and guess what it is? It's plasma.
Yeah,
I know.
nothing can exist without it.
Biochemical plasma. So
I know Woody's dying to say something. I know.
get
Come
in
on,
here,
Woody.
Woody. Woody,
Woody,
go.
what you got?
No, I'm good, guys. I'm just sitting here. I'm just letting you guys finish your talk. I actually was trying to get in. It was the British Empire was number 1. The Mongol Empire was number 2. Russian Empire number 3. Rome wasn't even in the top 3.
Yeah, they
Right
weren't
on.
even part
Thank
of
you.
it. Yeah, they were just
there you go.
scabs. They were scabs. So, but when you get into the bigger picture, whether what we're reading or interpretation, it really doesn't matter. If you really think about it, what matters is that we go on and not kill each other and go on and put aside our different religion's the only thing that's killing all of us. So everybody believes in something else. I believe the dog shits the world of wisdom. there's going to be a group of people that'll believe in that. I mean, people will believe in anything that gives them an opportunity to showcase themselves as important and as a contributor to whatever they think they believe in. And that's
Not all of us. Not all of us.
I highly. Let's just say we'll agree to disagree, because I can show you plenty of scientific studies. You interject. Let's look at. Here's a classic one.
Post them.
Like I said, no. What I'm going to say is, I'm just going to say, try the Stanford exam. What was that? The Stanford experiment. Yeah, try the Stanford experiment, making students prisoners and students guards, and those that became powerful abused their power. They did it every time. So we want attention.
Now people in charge are generally
Speaking of attention, I really need to talk to Huckleberry about her squirrel. How's your squirrel?
Yeah, there's a squirrel in the chat.
Really need to discuss your squirrel. I think we need to move off of theology and off of
Squirrel.
and off of the other pseudo intellectual things that we think we're talking about, and
Yeah.
on to Huck's
As-
squirrel.
As the leader of
Squirrel.
the largest religion in the world, is it appropriate to discuss her squirrel in front of me?
Yes.
It is. As a matter of fact, you guys have been doing it for 2,000 years, talking about squirrels in the fucking,
Hold
So,
on, I'm gonna get
don't-
my squirrel. Hold on, I gotta get.
That's
Wait,
not
he's
squirrel
about to
chat
talk
now.
about. He's about to talk about squirrels. So hold on, I gotta do.
Don't
this.
get all twitchy on me now. Come on now.
I'm getting twitchy. Hold on. Let me get my squirrel.
Yeah, but you're gonna need wheelbarrows. Carry 'em.
He did not mean those nuts, Huckleberry. He was
No.
hitting on you.
No, I have.
I got a wheelbarrow full of nuts for you.
I
told
have
her
to
I'd
have
send
my
her 50
squirrel.
pounds of nuts. I got
There's my
her
squirrel.
nuts for her.
It's my Irish squirrel. He's smoking.
I got a wheelbarrow full of nuts for you.
I told you
Chock-
he was hitting on you. He just proved it.
Chock full of masculine or toxic masculinity. That's a fucking
Right.
That's a Carpenter Patriot saying. Chock full of toxic masculinity. I got your
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. I got
Yeah.
plenty of nuts for you. For your squirrel.
Let's go.
Shit, I ain't saying anything.
Yeah, just I think
Man, we have degenerated off to a furry conversation. Come on now, please.
I was going to say that when Jesus was gone for 30 years, it's rumored that he actually laid hands on a lot of squirrels.
Can I get an amen?
Hey
Hey
man.
man,
Is it fire in the bowl time yet? Why?
It's
yes,
fire
it
in the
is.
bowl. That's fire in the bowl.
Smoke them if you got them. Chubby squirrels. We love chubby squirrels. I'm
still on
personally, I'm a
restriction.
fan.
COVID.
Woody, real quick on that, and on a serious note, though, there's actually a common belief that it says he traveled to the east. There's a lot of people that believe a lot of his connections were with Hinduism and Buddhism, possibly. So, and that's a belief within a lot of Christian churches, even.
Well, after that 30 years, he came back to a pretty desolate place and was basically teaching Buddhist fundamentals.
I agree, and I think
as
there
far
was
as
an
turning the other
influence.
cheek, and those were very unorthodox thinking in a day and age where everything was warlike.
And I think it leads credence to what Don was saying earlier, that there is a lot of stories that originate from that, but those stories predate, within Judaism. A lot of that predates what is in Christianity. So it wasn't rewritten at the time of Jesus. But
Right,
do we
it's
truly
just-
know the actual time of Jesus? Do we really know, the exact time of it? There's some discrepancy on that as well.
We do know. We know exactly. We can tell you exactly. We can tell you the day. We can tell you the year, because the reason why
Max.
the reason why we know that is because it was the doomsday, and they were there for the
It's the
census.
name of her squirrel. That's the
Oh,
name of her squirrel.
okay.
Right.
So she does have a squirrel, a little.
Yeah, she does have a squirrel.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand where we're going.
That's
with
a
that.
cover story. That's
Go
just
ahead.
a cover
Go-
story. All that is.
Go ahead, Woody. Go ahead, Woody. Sorry.
Yeah, that was interesting.
The reason why they were in Bethlehem to begin with was that was where they had to go be counted for the census. That's why there was no room at the inn, and that's why there was other people showing up there, such as wise men and all of those things. So you want to go back and look at the time. They'll tell you it was in early spring. He was born. Here's the census, and this is when it was taken. It was not December.
Bringing it.
Oh,
Bringing
okay.
it. It was actually like December 3rd or 4th, wasn't it?
Spring.
Was it spring?
Okay.
What's December
My-
3rd or 4th or something?
My
my bad.
question with that is, all right. We all done experiments in kindergarten and first grade. You start a story in a single class with just 30 people. By the time it gets around to the last kid class, there's been 3 things changed about the story. So in the last 2022 years, not a single sentence has changed. Nothing's changed. Nothing's been construed. Nothing's been misunderstood. And
That's
we're
right.
all on the same page 2022 years later.
That's why I think even the best way to understand Christianity is to learn Latin and read some of the original books. And because I think even especially some of the earlier translations were well, and it's been proven that some of them are a little off. And actually, what you're saying, Max, that's my concern with, like, and this again, there's going to be some people angry with me, but that's my concern with the New Testament, is because things were taken out, things were altered, and that's also my concern with some of the, I call it the Congress of Constantine, but what was it, Woody? What was that called?
The Council of Nicaea.
The Council of Nicaea. And when they decided to choose which books went in, which books went out, and there's a lot of belief that they left the books of Mary out because they didn't want, because at that time they didn't want women to appear to have any type of power.
Can I jump in? How about the book of Enoch, which is actually Enoch is spoken throughout the Old Testament, but yet they did not include his writings.
Right. It was one of those books that were expected to be known.
Yep.
Just like when they made the referrals of men of renown.
Yep.
Things like that. These are things that
you should read the book of Enoch. You should read it. And Barabbas. Read the book of Barabbas and read the book of Enoch. You should be quite surprised what you'll read.
I think tends to have more of a belief of the Catholic version of what should have been printed versus all of the possible iterations of what could have been printed.
Well, I'm not really
that make
Catholic
sense?
anymore. I just went there. So
I am, amen. And I do think it's closer, but actually, and this might surprise you, I think it's incomplete as well.
I think
now
all
pretty
of
much
that's
Irish. I think you're genetically Catholic.
yeah, it's born into you, whether you want to wear it or not. That's your choice. You can be you could be a holiday warrior in Catholicism, or you can be a Knights of Columbus, like I am, and which I am. I'm a knight.
Yeah.
So, which is funny. They call me the Dark Knight in my church because I'll sit there and listen to it and just be like,
What?
oh, okay, huh?
I tend to view religion as more of a source of history, and not the source of history.
Correct.
So all of the books that we're referring to are a source or various sources of history. But at the same time,
they're all written by man. That's all I got to say. Which
absolutely,
and that's exactly.
Yep. That's a kicker, and that's that with Irish I agree on. The translation, just because something they heard, they may not have understood it right. They translated it based on events that they knew and how things were that they knew, and that's a concern. That's why I tell everybody, find your own relationship with God. Even if it's the New Testament, by no way am I taken away from the New Testament. Just find your own way with God, and if it leads you to peace, all good.
That's the T minus 2 minutes and fire in the bowl. 2 minutes and
Jeez.
fire in the bowl.
Okay.
I'd last like maybe one of these, if that.
You know what? It's time for pie. We got time for pie.
I'd be hammered for a month just off of Don's second hand smoke.
Oh yeah, I'd have to miss work for a week.
Oh no, it ain't that bad.
Years of training and practice, and you have countless hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenditures just trying to get to this level of tolerance.
Uh,
Yeah, these are badass little blueberry pie.
every time you talk about pie, I just think about custard because that is the number one best pie in the world. Well, technically, I think about my grandma's custard pie, but
Right. Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Dude, grandma's whatever is
Yeah.
always the best.
yeah, it don't
Whatever
matter what
it
it is, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Grandma's bread, grandma's soup, grandma's pies,
Foot rub.
grandma's cake, especially grandma's pies. Holy shit.
Grandma's blackberry cobbler.
Woody, in
Oh.
comparison, and I know this is an economic level, the Dutch, in comparison, where were they?
Dutch had you're looking at different measurement. Economic imperialism, they were extremely effective, but
Right.
most people think of imperialism as boots on the ground.
I
So,
got
but
you.
if you want to talk about economically, they pretty much ran shop for a while. That's
See, that's what I-
you look at the Dutch; they're the ones that went around the Horn of Africa. They're the ones that, and the Portuguese too. Once again, the exception of Brazil, never really had a lot of territory, but they had a lot of financial, economic. And Portugal still has a tremendous amount of input in Brazil affairs.
Absolutely. Well, they speak Portuguese, for crying out loud.
Right.
It's a hybrid, yeah. But yeah, it is straight. It's actually on paper still Portuguese as their national language.
And that must be it's a hybrid. That's interesting. Is it a hybrid of Spanish and Portuguese, or is it a hybrid of like some type of native and Portuguese?
No, it's Spanish and India. It's kind of like our Creole is French and English.
I
and
got you.
Spanish. It's kind of a hybrid.
Nice.
That's okay, Ragged. We hate the French too.
I do hate.
So,
A really good friend of mine, his name is Jaime, and he actually if you call him Mexican, he doesn't get mad. He says, "No, I'm Azteca." He does not go by anything Spanish. He doesn't claim.
That's cool. That's cool
Yeah.
as shit. If you can track
Yep.
your lineage to something like Azteca, that's just badass.
And you
I
know
say
what's
more power to you. Yes, sir.
You know what the amazing thing is with him is, like, in his facial features, he looks like he's Native American, and that's why I'm sure that he can definitely track his lineage back, because even with his facial features, he looks Native American. So yeah, we'd all call him Azteca, and we got a lot of cool history that Woody probably wouldn't think of as history, but it was like stories passed down, and some of the cool stuff we heard from him that way, and his parents. It was really neat to hear some of the history they passed down. I think, like, if you go into the Native American camps and stuff, to hear some of the history they passed down is every bit as interesting, I think, as history we have written down.
Why would I be against that?
Not against it. I just, with like, it's not textbook, and you're kind of a science guy, right? Like historical science.
This is where Singh's left leaning comes out.
Yep, right here.
Oh,
Can you feel it?
I
Can
don't
you feel all
understand.
that squish in there,
Oh,
Vilifying me
all that
for
feel
being
good,
educated.
all that
Oh, that's-
feelers.
that's
Yeah.
trying to keep the morale up.
Okay.
But
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying what it is.
shut up, Karen. But anyway,
Yes, dear.
Dave says he's got some stuff he has to take care of. He's got to sign off. He just didn't
Take
want to
care,
leave
man.
without saying goodbye and all that shit. Just but he's got to take care of some wife stuff or something.
Who's that?
Okay.
Dave.
Oh, okay.
Irish.
Okay.
Hey, brother. Love having you up here.
Ghost.
Also, Huckleberry,
That-
we're 2 minutes late. I need to call that official fire in the bowl.
Fire in the
Somebody kick
bowl.
that goat. Huck's getting on me about being 2 minutes late for fire in the bowl. So I got to interrupt everything from an operational state, and we have to execute this fire in the bowl right now.
Fire in the bowl.
I don't understand that statement with Ghost. I'm not religious, just believe the book is all. That confuses me.
Well, I have a philosophy. My philosophy is that religion is for people who are afraid to go to hell. Spirituality is for those that have been there. And so, as a person that's been down and out and been really against the wall and having nothing left but faith at times, I can believe and somehow manage to get through it with no really help of my own. That's where spirituality comes into play.
Okay, Woody. So
there's
what?
something for you that you cannot do for yourself.
So what am I?
You know what he's gonna say.
On a serious note, it is
Man, you
irresponsible.
should
I mean,
never say that.
On a
I really-
serious note, it would be irresponsible for me to put you into a category or prescribe a religion that I personally feel is as valid a treatment as some of the bullshit they're prescribing.
I get it.
So I think every man's journey is their own. I'll give you shit just the same. But
Oh,
on a
I
serious
know.
note,
I know. I just
Amen.
want to know your opinion on that
never
because
do that.
you were separating religion and conviction or whatever you were, however you're relating to it, and I just wanted to know where you really stood with it. That's all.
I want to focus on some keywords there. Every man's journey is their own.
Oh, absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
is key. I mean, find it
Absolutely.
yourself. Don't be told what to believe.
Absolutely.
You cannot find happiness if you're always being told by other people where to look, because
No.
ultimately you're looking for their happiness, not yours.
No, yeah, I get that.
And each man's path, as well as their own goals, and anything is worth the price you're willing to pay for it. And when you set those factors into motion, as simple as they sound, if one can apply those, I try to do this. I don't do it well, but I try to. Life becomes a lot simpler. At least that's the experience I've had.
I'm gonna change the subject real quick. Going back to like the Native American history. You guys would love some of the smaller sites. They're not big, well-known sites, but we've got things like Summit Springs, Beecher Island, and stuff like that were like Native American battle sites. And there's little plaques and stuff. I need to, maybe I'll do a video on some of them sometime if you guys ever want to. People that wouldn't be able to make it here, I'll just record what the plaque says. And even like through the pasture at Summit Springs and at Beecher Island, and there's a bunch of others, countless ones. I mean, and they've got little plaques that show where the chief died, where the wife of a captain in the military died and everything during it. It's just really cool history. And a lot of these little sites are forgotten, but they're just as deep of history. And I might, if anybody would like to see them, I won't talk or anything. I'll just do some pictures and stuff. But try to do
just take pictures. Don't talk. We hear enough of you on here, so that's fine.
You're not the only one that thinks that, I'm sure.
No, I'm interested in anything and everything. I like to learn about the most random shit, so I love it.
And I think the cool thing is we all know about the big battles. Everybody knows about the big battles, but some of these smaller battles and stuff, the wagon trains and stuff, some of that smaller stuff that kind of, there's just so much of it that it's impossible to fit it in a textbook, the average textbook. So that's the type of stuff I like about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure.
If you ever want to read a really interesting essay, it's actually a chapter, but Tolstoy in War and Peace really goes into his thoughts on what he thinks of history. It's not good. But he does have some compelling arguments about how when you look at history, you have a tendency to my word's not working, to raise importance of certain men or great decisions they make. And he points out that if there's a guy on the left-hand side that had a cold that day and didn't show up to fire the cannon that took out the one guy that made the key decision on that side, and it's all the little factors that add up to the whole. It's very rarely one great person making a great decision that gets the credit. And it's an interesting take. I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but it's an interesting take if you are a historian.
I agree with the fact that, like even we think of George Washington and everything, and we don't think of, a lot of, I mean, hopefully try to, but a lot of the regular farmers and regular people that, fought and died in his camp or, in his unit and everything like that. And I think we need to give them as much, a lot of significance and everything. Maybe not because he was obviously the first president and set so many examples for presidents to follow, term limits and such, but still, I get that acknowledgement of the little guy. Is that kind of what you meant?
Yes, and also just the fact that, once again, if that guy wouldn't have shot that gun that took out that one guy, Napoleon might not have won that battle, and now Napoleon's a footnote instead of having 1,000 books dedicated to him.
Yeah.
And that's really, and history is so great. Russia's a great take when you talk about revision of history. Russia, they were so enamored with France that they all learned French. They took on French culture. And of course, Napoleon, he wasn't so great whenever Napoleon was coming knocking at the door. So, and then they wrote books,
Did you know that most people conflate the Boston Massacre with the shot heard around the world? They think the two are one and the same. What's that?
Not even the same place.
Nope. Because the shot heard around the world was actually when I can't remember the names of the town, but they raided one little village basically because of ammo stocks, I believe, right?
They were heading to Concord.
Yeah, Concord. And then a lot of the militiamen, I guess we could say at the time, were lined up and they're just kind of facing off against each other. And then somebody, whatever happened, panicked, whatever, shot. And then that was considered the shot were heard around the world, correct?
Yeah. The Boston Massacre was basically they lined up and started chucking ice balls, and they had pitchforks and rocks, and they were screaming and screaming and screaming, and it went down a lot differently than Paul Revere's famous lithograph depicting, which I've looked at a million times, with a little dog laying there barking. Even the dog was involved. I have a very dramatic story I tell with it. And they're laying there holding, and look at the anger and the smoke coming up. And of course, that was a huge turning point to gaining momentum to rally behind Bostonians and New England. And of course, then that led to, one by ocean, two by sea, the famous Paul Revere's Ride, which actually was outrun by a teenage girl who actually delivered the news to more people. They never once said the Redcoats, or they had never once said the British were coming, because everyone in America at that time was also British. So that wouldn't have made any sense. So they would have said the Lobsterbacks were coming or the Redcoats were coming, which would have been indicative of soldiers. Interesting. It's awesome. But then they marched on Lexington Concord, and they had the guerrilla warfare all the way back to Boston.
That actually makes a lot of sense too.
I've never heard lobsterback. That's interesting. I know redcoat was common reference, but I never heard lobsterback. That's interesting.
Lobsterback is the derogatory term. That was getting your mama. That was the your mama of
Throw in your face.
colonial times.
Nice. I did not know that.
And cool. Yanks are flamboyant men that enjoy the company of other men. So whenever they say Yanks, they're actually calling all the men here gay. And then we decided to run with it. And now we're still called Yanks. We even wrote a song about it.
Oh my God, you're kidding me. I did not know that.
Look up the Macaron Club in London.
So
put a feather in their hand.
For those of you that live south of the Mason-Dixon line, this is actually very significant.
You call me a Yankee and I'm going to kick you in.
So
those damn Yankees that won't go home, I just want you to remember what he said here. Just remember.
Put your feather in your
Thank you.
hat so that all your other buddies know that you too are like that, and you can go hang out at the Macaron Club.
Wow,
Call it
you just
macaroni,
ruined Yankee
put a
Doodle Dandy
feather in
for
your
me.
hat.
You went up and you
Changes the context a little bit, doesn't it?
Ah, it changes everything.
That's
Oh, you're an asshole.
that's why we still whistle Dixie.
Man, you my new hero. My new hero. See, knowledge is power, motherfuckers.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Now,
See, and that's where
if you want
a
to
lot
teach
of
a bunch of
times-
Southern kids about Yanks in the North and the South, you can kind of tiptoe around that subject, and they will all remember it because they think they're really into something, and it's that little stupid hook that they're like, "Oh my god, whoa!" And now they're hooked in history. Now they really are interested because they know something that nobody else knows. And we're talking about seventh graders here.
it's
Ladies and gentlemen, teaching professional. Thank you very much for playing center stage. What was that? Teaching professional on the center stage. Put your hands together.
And I'm working for tips also. So
and that's
Blow the
legit
dust,
because I
blow
think
the
that's a
dust
sign
off
of
those wallets. Blow the dust off those wallets. Let's toss a few ones in his direction. Put your hands together. Sorry about that. I'll shut up now. Thank you.
I'm
now
good.
you're just
I'm good.
sucking up.
I can switch on teacher mode and I don't shut off. So sorry.
No, it's all good. Actually, I think that's cool though that you found ways to get them so interested.
You can make
Oh.
kids. You can ask kids to do. It's real simple. It isn't reinventing the wheel. And there's
Four
teachers that will say,
60-year-old
"I need
men.
you to know 1776. 70. That's a really important. Day. That's our nation's birthday." I say it's important, but I ask the kids, "Hey, what's the basketball team in Philadelphia?" And they're like, "Oh, the 76ers." And I start there. Why are they called the 76ers? I don't know. Let's look it up. Oh man, they're named for the. And now they all know 1776. Not because I was some great teacher, because they found it and they taught themselves and they tied it to something important in their life, like basketball. Now, does that work for every kid? Nope. But in the inner city, it works damn well.
Oh, cool, Max. Max is Chippewa Seminole.
Oh yeah, I was talking in chat. I'm just trying to butt in here. Yeah, I actually have quite a bit in my family. My grandma was 75% Seminole on my mom's side.
I'm one of those that on both sides. I'm Germanic, so I'm one of those that nobody
West
cares
side?
to for.
Right. Would you like to?
Emerald, are you talking to Huckleberry on the phone again?
No, I'm talking to Fritz. He's here pulling at me.
Woody, real quick, if you had a student argue with you on a subject, what would your response be?
I would not let a student argue with me because that would be indicative of disrespect on both our paths. I would have a
Right.
discussion, and I will have any discussion with any student as long as it is respectful, it is not interrupting normal class time, and it can back it up with statistics or facts, so it's not idiocy.
You helped answer the question.
No, there is no wrong answer as long as it is respectful and you have facts to back it up. And I have been proven wrong before, and I have admitted it in front of a class. And then I admitted it in front of all the other classes I didn't have to, just to show that I own my shit when I screw up, like an adult. So, can I go back to the French thing real quick? You guys,
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I personally hate the French a lot, and but I do love the fact that they really have nothing going for themselves. I mean, they're completely being overrun with Muslims. Their biggest export right now is Muslims to Britain, and so really one of the few saving graces of France is wine. And people will still talk about, well, French wine. They had this French wine and French wine. What a lot of people don't understand is the French grape had a blight almost not unlike a cousin to the potato famine. And it was decimated. And they had to call in, once again, the United States, more specifically, Missouri, to repopulate their grapes with our grapes that are hardier and resistant. So whenever you're over there thinking you're drinking this great wine and French grapes, that shit's from a river 50 miles from here that I wouldn't take a
Yeah.
piss in because it's so unclean. So drink it up, you frog fucks.
Yeah, you French fucking river grape drinking bitches.
You guys.
There's a guy I work with. He calls them cheese eating surrender monkeys.
Well, they have a word for them though. They're called the French.
Now, do you guys dislike the French, or I've never really been
I am
acquainted
not
with very
related
many
to the
French
French.
people.
I mean, you can call me a cocksucking, no good piece of shit, but do not tell me that I'm related to the French.
Here,
Well,
here.
no,
I'm
I mean,
not
I've
related
never
to the
even
French.
met. To be honest, I've never even met French people. But is it their history? Is it the people? Is it the government? Just curious.
What do we hate about the French?
Well,
Yeah.
my. I tell you what, I've been to France. Okay, I've been to Paris. I've been to the Riviera, and pretty much, it's kind of like going to anywhere else. You go to the big cities, and you're gonna get like New York. You know what you're gonna get. Fuck you. Nice to meet you. But kind of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I've never met
their
any, so I'm
French's
indifferent.
opinion about NATO and the rest of Europe and how they are inferior. Right now, France does not belong to NATO. They are an associate member. What the fuck does associate member mean? That they do not have any loyalty to anybody. So that's one thing I hate about the French. In addition to that, the surrender monkey has root in fact. They fucking surrender their asses off in a minute. They haven't got a fucking spine among them. That said, 200 plus years ago, they were the first to scream out liberty, and that's where we got a lot of ours from. So for that, I kind of applaud them.
I think we paid those assholes back.
But we have. You're right.
My
We
three
hauled their
reasons to hate
asses
the
out of
French.
World War I and II. And so
That's what I said,
we're
my
fucking tired
three
of it.
reasons: World War One, World War II, and Vietnam. There's three right there I can think of. Why I hate the
Absolutely.
French.
You're absolutely right. And we
People
owe
forget
them
Vietnam
nothing.
People
aggravates
forget
me.
about Vietnam, and let's not forget
Yeah.
we also took over and bailed their ass to the Panama Canal, so it wouldn't fall into Russian hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, French surrender monkeys has there's a lot of truth there.
I mentioned that the other night and had people calling me out on it when I said it. And the Vietnam War truly was a French war.
Suki.
And that probably had maybe something to do with the heroin and go that we need to get out of there. But that's
I'm sorry,
Jacqueline
France
Bouvier
was a
very-
founding member of NATO and fully participated in the alliance from its outset. I disagree with that completely there, Mr. Gardner.
Now, see, as for France, I'm pretty indifferent. But now that you guys brought up Vietnam, that one bugs me more than anything. I mean, a lot of it bugs me. And then just had me indifferent. But yeah, that bugs me because I do know that through French politics, I mean, they criticize us for Vietnam, which is crappy. So since they got us into it.
And Jacqueline Bouvier had very tight relations with France. JFK's wife.
What did you call her? Is Onassis her?
No, Jacqueline Onassis was her last name. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was her name on death. Her maiden name is Jacqueline Bouvier. And she did her interviews in France in fluent French.
Okay, so I'm sensing a link here. Can you tell us some interesting information and facts about Kennedy?
All right, listen, Kennedy, we can go on for 10 days about Kennedy, and it's exhausting. I will someday, but I'm not going to go into it tonight, man. I mean, I have probably, my dog's named Kennedy. So I love the Kennedys with all their problems, with all their crookedness and all their shady dealings. I think the Kennedys were awesome. First of all, Kennedy was a conservative by every stretch of the imagination, today's standards. There's nothing not to like about this guy. I mean, in big scheme of things, he was a womanizer. But I think we can all agree of all the shit that our presidents have done, that's pretty small now.
Yeah.
Guys, wow, there's a quick break here. I'm jumping up. I'm gonna get off here and get some sleep. I gotta get
Right on, man. Take care.
about 6 hours or so. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, dream well,
So-
Patriots.
One good thing about having a blizzard coming in tomorrow is I don't have to be up. Well, the earliest I have to be up is just to be. I do have to be up at 6:30 because I gotta drive down an hour and a half to go get the pup. But yeah, don't have to be up at 4:30 or 5 to go to work. So, but no, I like Kennedy. No arguments there.
Well, that's where you got the blue dog Democrats and stuff like that. That's what that was all about.
To be honest, the magic bullet and stuff like that, I think it's ironic that 4 days prior to that he said he would break the CIA up into a million pieces in a speech. That's just kind of an interesting crossover. I'm not making any statements either way right now, but because we can save that for the conversation when we really get into it. But that's an interesting fact.
I think he was summed up with the fact that they have now refused to release papers again to protect those still living. Now, my question, anyone who hears that statement means all the people that are dead, that are investigated, are already dead. All the investigators are dead. So who are we protecting unless it's the government itself? Because there is no one living anymore. JFK's kids, his own kids his son's dead. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. And there's only one person they're trying to protect. Well, probably several, but you know what I mean. But even the people that were involved, they're all passed away. Or too damn old to know or care anymore anyway.
Like Papa Bush is dead.
Right. Well, yes. And Lord knows he was, well, that's a whole different story too. I mean, Papa Bush is involved. You want to talk about a scary guy. He was director of the CIA during the Cold War. You want to talk about having blood on your hands. He's a spook.
Yep.
He is a spook. There's no doubt about it. In the words of a spook, he's a spook. And
that's why I didn't vote for him.
He's a highly trained spook too, because he did the CIA for 20 plus years before he even thought about getting into politics.
Well, there's pictures of him with Putin, aren't there? I think there's pictures like him and Putin.
He's been in fucking everybody's pocket. He's been in everybody's hip pocket for the last 50 years. I swear he has.
And that and Zapata oil.
His name is flown across a lot of different Middle Eastern. I mean, yes, for the oil, but also yes for the money, and yes for the espionage. It's really that simple.
It had a lot to do with shit that went down in Cuba.
For anybody to think that we do not have pre-planned elections and pre-planned presidencies, keep in mind that Prescott Bush tried to organize a rebellion of our government, a military coup d'etat, and yet his son's son and grandson become president of the United States of America. Riddle me that, Aunt Macy.
And they call that a dynasty in the same way that the Kennedys was a dynasty. So I mean, come on now, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Pro Kennedy, but Mr. Anti Bush. Dynasties.
I voted for
brother.
I voted for Bush twice. I mean, and I would have voted for him again if he could have ran against Trump and Hillary.
You want to talk about somebody feeling dirty about voting for Bush? I voted for Romney.
No,
Ooh,
I had to
No.
take a shower after that.
look at
did.
the
Yeah.
Kennedys. The Kennedys are a family. Look at Barbara Bush's great grandfather was Franklin Pierce.
I love
Franklin
Barbara
Roosevelt.
Bush.
The Roosevelts
Barbara
are
Bush
related
was
to
smarter than
Winston
all the
Churchill.
rest of the Bushes combined.
What's that?
Barbara Bush was the smart one. All the rest of them were idiots. She was the
I
dynasty.
saw her speak. And she spoke with Schwarzkopf, Powell, her, and I think maybe even her husband was President Bush, 41. And she was the best speaker out of the five. Now, granted, those guys were on tour making money, probably just phoning it in, in retirement money. But damn, she rolled.
kind of a queen
That's what
thing.
happens when you run a family like that. Dude,
Yep.
she's been doing it for years, and she knows what the fuck the deal is. She knows what the questions are, and she knows where the answers are hidden.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ever
Listen,
watch Dallas?
There is no perfect, okay? And I just really want to go on record as saying that there isn't. We live in a culture built by men from other cultures, built on other cultures, built on other cultures, built on other cultures. Honestly,
Yeah.
These are all at the absolute behest of the perpetual. What's the word? The perpetual fucking corruption of man over the span of the last, and pick a time frame that we're talking about: 2,000 years, 13,000 years, 15,000 years, 100,000 years. It is what it is, and if you don't realize that and from the beginning, and don't plan your movements accordingly, then you're going to be lost in the moral, what's the word that I'm looking for? Grass,
Quagmire.
for lack of mud.
Quagmire.
And it's kind of, you know what? I try to live a moral life. I do. I try to do the right thing. It's always the hard thing. I'm a pretty lucky guy, but at the same time, dude, I kick a lot of people in a lot of balls. I make a lot of enemies. I do a lot of what other people consider to be the wrong thing. Sorry, don't care. Anyway, I'll shut up. Sorry, I'm preaching now.
Do the right thing when you're done, though. Yeah.
It's a 50,000, 100,000 foot view. I'm sorry, there's Wood.
I just wanted to say something into the chat. Ghost, I understand exactly what you meant when you said unite the clans. However, if you guys have a big following in the South, there's probably a bunch of hillbillies right now stripping sheets. So might want to be careful.
Yeah, that's one scary thing. There's some people out there that are looking for a trigger. Is that what you mean?
I was just talking about there's a lot of people screaming race war already, civil war, and all this crap. And unite the clans. This is the moment that some of those knuckleheads have been waiting for their whole lives.
Yeah, they could take it wrong, and yeah.
It's real hard to have, all this stuff that you've been prepping for and getting ready for your whole life, and all this rage and hate you've been sitting on. Eventually you're going to play with those toys, man. And those toys get some people in trouble.
That's it. The rage and hate. Don't let it control you. And there's so many people that do on both sides.
Rage, hate, and a healthy dose of ignorance is a whole lot of trouble.
Yep. And like I've said it in we know Ghost, the Celtic clans. He just meant that they could take it wrong. But
I was joking.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Shit, I'm tired. What are you talking?
You should smoke weed. Then you'd have an excuse.
Dude, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night. The night before, I got like 4 hours of sleep. So, yeah. I'm
We have a
feeling pretty rough.
GoFundMe for you, Sing, so you can quit your night job as a male prostitute. So anybody's willing to donate to
The only reason Woody knows this is because he tried to hit me up, but I turned him down.
SingsMaleProstitution.com.
the
that what we're saying?
GoFundMe is for me, so I have enough money to visit Sing. And
Okay, so
with
what are
him.
we calling this? What are we calling this GoFundMe?
God, I have to think of it.
Call it Sing's Corner. They'll get the
Wood for
name.
Sings?
Sing's
How
cornhole.
about-
What'd you say? Jesus, I was joking.
It's
Wood for
CORNER, not corn. Where you what went from my
You said
penis to
cornhole.
my
I'm
ass?
like, my God, I was joking. This all of a sudden, this took an eerie turn.
Jesus, man, the things you hear. That's I'm getting a little concerned now. But well, I thought it was funny. Fuck you guys.
Break the unity.
So what's up, Doc?
Nothing. Wizard,
Oh.
are you there or are you just sitting in the dark?
I'm
Are you
He does
sitting
here.
back there where nobody can hear you?
I was
Fuck.
just sitting back.
Yeah. Now ask him what don't ask him what he's doing. Never mind.
Nope.
Forget.
Don't want to know. Sorry.
Yep.
Just keeping my hands warm.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Yeah, we got Costco's here back.
And I think all a group is like this for the most part. You know, if you're an asshole, I'm going to treat you like an asshole. If you're a good person, I'm going to treat you like a good person. And I could care less about race, gender, even how they identify themselves. If they're a decent person, I'll treat them like a decent person.
I just look at it like the old-fashioned way. We're all human. I am a racist. I'm a human racist. So we can work out everything else. And that doesn't need to be said.
A bunch of shit that doesn't matter that
Right.
some people out there try to make it matter.
Whoever's having midterms, or good luck to them. And if they want to fire up, they want any help with their homework, we'll be more than glad to try our best to answer your questions. So just post them right there in the text.
Did Woody forget what chat he's on?
I just
So,
saw
man.
midterms go well. I'm like, okay, well, maybe when you get ready to take a history test or something, that'd be kind of cool. Throw up a little academia.
Oh, I got you. I thought you smoked yourself goofy for a second there.
Also true.
Oh. Don wants to say something.
I want to discuss the lineage that is Genghis Khan and the liberal that is Genghis Khan. Talk amongst yourselves.
Go ahead.
That's much
Sam.
because I was looking for. Oh wow. Okay, and this is wow, thank you. There you go. Oh, it's Costco. I gotta
I knew Francis from the very onset because when they divided up Berlin into 4 parts after the war, it was Britain, America, France, and Russia, or Soviet Union. So, when the Soviet Union put up the wall, I saw and did the Berlin. We had to do the Berlin airlift. We formed the other 3 was foundation of NATO, which was the 3 leftover halves of Berlin. And I don't know if they left NATO or not, but I know they've been there from the very beginning. And now NATO also encompasses African countries, and I mean it's has really not that much to do with geographical North Atlantic.
I'm not going to believe that.
To be honest, there's so many NATO countries right now that are hostile to us that I sometimes I think I question if we have a place within it anymore as it is. It's almost like we need to start redoing individual.
France left NATO in 66 because de Gaulle wouldn't allow for the NATO, for the nuclear subjugation or the French subjugation to NATO command structures. France's current NATO or nuclear forces still remain outside the command structure of NATO. France, while being inside the command structure of NATO, is only an associate member of NATO at this point, even though they were an originating member. Yes, but they did leave NATO due to de Gaulle's not wanting to allow for French subjugation to NATO command structures. And again, currently, their nuclear forces are the only ones on European soil that are not subject to NATO nuclear command structures. Even the United States nuclear forces are subject to NATO command forces, which includes both United States and European and other nations now, as you pointed out, command structures.
Now, Poland was denied membership, correct?
Yeah, and that kind of, well, to NATO, yes, they have been, but they've not actually ever been formally, what's the word I'm looking for? They've never formally requested it. Why? Because it would piss the Russians off so bad. So bad. If Poland ever, and there's not enough spine in Europe. There's not enough spine in Europe to piss the Russians off that bad. Even with the Russians at the fucking front door of the Ukrainians. I just don't get that.
See, whatever forward operating base assets we have in Germany, to be honest, if you think about it, Poland would be a great spot, not to mention they would probably give us the land, whatever we wanted to put it.
They've already said that. They said that
Really?
to Trump. They said, we'll set up whatever bases you want. Just bring U.S. forces over here, NATO forces over here. They don't even have to be NATO forces. They just have to be U.S. forces. And Trump tried, and he did get some forces to do expeditionary rotation within Polish command structures to give the Poles some training, some equipment, and some funding in an expeditionary sense.
Sweet dreams, Huckleberry.
I'm sorry, I'm talking too much now. I apologize.
No, I take everything in. Sorry, I was just writing stuff down. Like I said, no offense to anybody, I write things down to look into them.
You should. Did Poland? Now, if Poland, I could be wrong here.
Because I thought they were denied.
Has been a NATO member since 1290. What? How the fuck did that happen?
1999. Yeah, I think I'm confused.
Been a NATO member since. During these years, the memberships have deeply transformed our armed forces. Yeah, I still don't believe that.
Let me find military presence. Oop, talking
The
to
biggest
myself on
issue
me.
I have with NATO is the fact that people don't think of NATO as a organization; they think of it as the United States, and people expect the United States to pay for everything in that organization.
Yeah, I know.
And if
That's
we're
kind
going
of
to
a
do
problem.
it, it should be everybody, and it should be equal troops. Everything when we go do the interventions, it shouldn't
Okay.
be
Right.
America first always.
Poland, 1999. I'll be darned. What
Nine,
did they get?
absolutely right.
What did they get
Absolutely right.
denied recently? Then they got denied something on the basis of their.
Strengthening of troops. Apparently, the
Maybe
Russians,
that
we've
was it.
got 5,000 troops there. And the Russians have criticized any strengthening of NATO ties or additional ground forces, forward forces. And that's kind of one of the things the Russians have been whining about recently is us putting forward forces in Eastern Europe.
God, I still think Poland. And if you want to talk about forward operating bases, just location would
Oh,
be
I agree.
would be
I agree.
superior to Germany.
Yeah, they have been.
And to be honest, the German government doesn't seem like
I
they
did
want
not
us
know
there.
that. The German government doesn't seem like they want us in Poland. Is that what you're saying?
In Germany,
Oh, they do.
The
just
German
sometimes,
government?
yeah.
Have you asked the German government that recently?
No, I haven't. It's just speculation based on articles of criticism towards the U.S.
From the government? No,
from
never.
officials.
From
Yes.
some left-wing fucktards in Europe, yes.
Yeah.
In Germany, Germany's full of them, yes. 5K is pitiful. You're absolutely right.
As a whole, I'm taking because you guys all have been to Germany through the military, correct? You and Emerald.
Not me, no sir.
Oh, Emerald would be one to ask. I'm guessing as a whole. I'm guessing the cities. I'm guessing as a whole, most of the people want us there and enjoy having us there. That's my guess.
You know what? For the last 50 years, probably so. That is correct. And their prosperity has been directly tied to the presence of NATO. And if you pulled NATO out, there would be a lot of German culture and society that would collapse because, quite frankly, there's a lot of supply chain in Germany that supplies the United States or NATO military. So if the Americans were to pull out, yeah, it would have a fucking massive effect. And people would scream and
We've just got so many bases around the world. Some of them seem like the necessity isn't there anymore. Now, Germany is one. I believe the necessity is there because I believe Germany is a necessity as a base because, even just as a forward operations to keep an eye on hostile actors towards us. But there seems like we've got so many bases that just aren't significant anymore. And I know they don't do it willy-nilly, so I know there's some significance that I just don't know about, but we've got a lot of foreign bases.
I don't know how much we need forward bases. I think politically we could sit back and just keep where we're at, not expand. We have everything we can hit. Everything we have is going to come out of the Air Force or the Navy anyway. Our bombers are leaving Missouri to hit you, so there's no place you can go that we can't hit you pretty darn quickly. So I don't know if we necessarily even need to have a base that far in, pushing up against someone's boundary.
And I think mostly it's intelligence, though, isn't it?
That's going to be behind the lines.
It gives us a staging, close by staging or whatever. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. That's just how it seems.
Well, when it was USSR, the Iron Curtain and all that jazz. Yeah, I understood that. And I get you what you're saying that we may have bases that are no longer relevant as far as that line goes.
You know, the Congress has a commission that meets on a pretty regular basis to close, just to do that very thing, to close unneeded, unwanted bases and to merge other bases. And it's been going on for these many years. I don't know if it's still
Nice.
going on, but dude, you have no idea how many fucking bases have been closed, repurposed, readjudicated, renamed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. And to be honest, even if you look at all the bases that are claimed, to be honest, I think that's probably a fraction of ones that we actually have.
I don't know. I don't have any clue.
No, that's complete speculation just because, you know,
What are you speculating
intelligence
there again?
that we probably have a lot of bases that we don't, that aren't even recorded anywhere
Recorded.
publicly.
Bases. Define base. Physical
Well,
location
even
or
like
virtual location?
physical.
Okay. Disagree with that, but okay.
And like I said, it was mere speculation. I don't know. I just,
Well, what's a base now? Do you got to park a ship there, a plane there? What
oh no,
do you got to
An
do there
office
to call it a
space.
a
base?
base could be a building with some type of headquarters, in my opinion, with U.S. personnel there.
Office
How about
space kind of shit.
How about a closet that sits in a commercial somewhere that the only general has a lock and key to? Is that a
I
base?
got you. I got you.
How about a piece of virtual base that's a piece of virtual equipment that sits in a cloud somewhere? That sits between, say, 5 different data centers that if one of them turns into a smoking hole, the other 4 pick it up. Is that a base?
Right.
Creepy.
Dude, I'm just throwing them out there, okay? That's my job.
So mostly, yeah. That's creepy. So this, I know, like with the Cloud Act and stuff, there's all sorts of different things. With the cloud, pretty much if anything goes in the cloud, it's known to I don't know how to say this, government, military, I don't know what it would be. It's known to people if they want to know it, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, that's a big fat emphatic, big hard no, because the cloud is all privately addressed. And
Take
so
care,
the
coach.
only way you get into and out of the cloud is through public DNS disclosures. And the only way you do that is through DNS records.
Dream well, Bill.
Names, stuff like that. So
Actually, while we're talking about this, Don, what's your opinion on the secure website for emails and such? It's SEKUR.
never heard of it.
Okay.
Secure websites and secure emails is not really my thing. Here's why. Let's just say you have one of these subscriptions where you subscribe to a secure email. It's encrypted, it's secured, nobody can log into it. You even have 2-factor authentication. It's pretty fucking tight. But you send an email that's, when you send it to someone outside of your sphere of control here, then it is A, unencrypted by and large. B, it's going to go through Gmail. And C, it's public. It's not, if it's not encrypted, then it's publicly readable. And if it's not encrypted, it normally goes to, or it's going to have to go to its endpoint as publicly readable. So my point here is real simple. The security of your secure email system goes away as soon as you send an email outside of your secure email system. Does that make sense?
It does completely. And I
Yep.
was wondering how they overcame that because they kept calling it a double encryption to where when people open it, and it made no sense to me because it seemed to me that if somebody else opened it, it would come up on their email so they would see it. So that makes
Listen,
complete.
there are various public key encryption methods to encrypt email. And if you want to do that between two people, you can do that using open source stuff.
Mhm.
And it's not complex. It really is not. But to assume that everything you send out or even receive is going to be both secure and encrypted in your quote unquote secure email subscription is disingenuous, because it's not.
Right.
The world's POP, SMTP, and IMAP email systems don't carry your encryption so far.
You're studying something else while you're talking about this, aren't you?
Me, no. I just know about
No,
those systems.
I tell you what
No.
you have to do,
No.
and what they do with it. I've set these things up. What they do is they'll create a VPN, and you VPN into a server with a virtual desktop and a virtual machine, basically on a private inside network. And then you can email only to approved emails, and all emails are vetted so that they know whether they're going to another secure email or not within the system. If you're trying to send an email outside of the system, you have to. There's a procedure for that. But yeah, no, that's yeah, I've dealt with a few of those.
Right on. Cool. And Don, is what I meant was I heard you stutter, and I start stuttering when I mentally am multitasking. So if I'm reading about one thing and trying to discuss another.
Okay.
So it just had me curious. I thought I was one of the only ones that did that.
Actually,
so.
I'm chewing on a set of kettle chips right now. If that's, that could be it.
That could quite possibly be it.
That could be anything. I'm sitting here chomping on these. So yeah, I could be stuttering.
But you guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. Have you ever done that? You're like researching one thing, but you're in the midst of a discussion on another thing, two completely separate things. So you're mentally
I'll be honest with you,
multitasking.
I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to be laser-like focused on what I'm doing. And any kind of distraction or multitasking does not work for me. Now, I can put you on hold. I can put you on mute. I can completely shut you off and do some other shit. That's multitasking for me. But I can't. My wife can listen to music and type and do all kinds of things all at one time with all kinds of things going on around her. I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't
I'm
have
curious.
that ability.
Does that help her focus? Things like that help me focus.
I don't.
With a lot
I
of
don't
other
know.
things.
I don't know. She digs it. She's able to get her thing done in that whole, music, noise, confusion mess. I can't do it. I need quiet. I need get out of the room. Let me focus on what I need to do.
See,
So
quiet. I'll start to fill the quiet with more things to think about. So to me, that music lets me focus on the music so I can pinpoint on something else.
See, if I listen to the music, I can't focus on what I need to focus on. That's getting the job done. Getting the job done is where I need to focus. That's for me.
Cool. That shows all the different ways people are able to focus. The human mind is an interesting thing, that's for sure. How about you, Emerald or Woody?
Sorry, I was wrestling with the dog.
Is that code?
Thanks, Dallas. Appreciate it, brother. Turns the fucking music
What
up.
was the
Jesus
question,
Christ.
Sing?
But no, I was just how do you best concentrate? Do you have to multitask or mentally multitask? I have something else to do while you're have something to do that you want to really focus on, or do you need absolute silence or whatever, like Dawn and focus?
I suffer from severe ADHD. And even with medication, I still have to get up very early in the morning to beat all distractions. Because once my day starts and the world starts all around me, then I'm 100 different directions all day. So I will get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at 7, like an old person, just so I can get up early before the sun comes up, so that birds aren't chirping and things aren't distracting me.
Oh,
But doesn't that help fill a bit of a void to help you concentrate on something specific?
It does. It does. So I guess I do need to have some type of isolation. But once the day starts, it helps to have music or something in the background, because it's actually helps by introducing stimulus. It helps reduce distractions.
like a white noise.
Like a white, exactly. I'm a white trash, white noise.
I heard that. He called me old. Did you hear
It's
that?
gonna be old.
He called me old.
Don, you go to bed a hell of a lot later than I do on the norm. I promise you.
I'll give you a cookie.
See, now me, like if I'm reading, say, about history, I'll also have something playing in the background about like the universe, and I'll be listening to that universe stuff going through it, but I'll be able to focus on the history stuff that I'm reading. I don't know if that makes any sense.
And I would sit there in my mind, spin everything from one into the other, and then I would go on some philosophical thing in my mind about how the two correlate. And is there any type of serendipity there? Are the gods trying to tell me something? My mind would completely go crazy at that point.
Okay. I do like to go philosophical on a lot of things, but it doesn't. And, at times they do correlate, like you say, but most of the time, for the most part, not really. I don't know. I don't think I'm describing it very well.
I think you're doing.
I think you guys are nuts, personally. You need to stay focused on the engineering and the finance of how it all comes together.
And
I even go so far as to outsource the operations to the wife. I let her execute talking to all the people. It's amazing. She's so good at it too. She fucking kills it. So me, I do the engineering in the background, the finance in the background, and try to keep a low profile and focus on those two things in my spare time.
Right.
I wonder if it's OCD, because I have OCD, so I wonder, like legit OCD, not the clean desk OCD, like legit OCD. I wonder if that's why I need something else to focus on along with something else going on along with what I'm trying to focus on. So I'm not overly obsessed with what I don't know. I'm thinking out loud.
Right. It's a little hard to be. Right. It's a little hard to be ADHD and OCD at the same time. It's really difficult.
Well, I'm OCD. I'm not. Yeah. So which I don't know. Maybe who knows who I am. But yeah. But OCD is actually, it can be quite similar to ADHD in some ways. Like legit OCD.
Attention deficit. Okay. is the problem. Okay, attention deficit. Okay, that's exactly what it is. It's a,
And see, I don't
you
have
get
that problem.
distracted easily,
Oh
and
no.
if you're OCD, your whatever you're working on has to be perfect or just a certain way.
Oh, it's more than that.
And
It's
and you have to do everything.
Being easily distracted, and being able to maintain a laser-like focus to keep that OCD perfection. And I'm sorry, you're not seeing the use of my hand. That OCD perfection. That dude, I can relate to that. I can relate to, tunnel vision to try to create, the product that needs to be done, to finish thing that needs to be completed in its own perfection, whatever that may be, and trying to keep out the people that are trying to stop me from getting this done.
Yeah,
see, and
I
here's
have that
the
vision every day. Yes, that's
Like-
my vision.
like for the attention thing. I have to make myself, focus on different things. So like attention deficit, that's not necessarily there, but definitely the OCD. I get what you mean by that. Yes, to try to keep a laser focus on one thing, but I use other things to help me get to that focus, but they don't distract me from that focus. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
tired of telling too much stuff
It's-
about
you know
myself
what?
anyways.
It's all a mental
Fine.
cross that I must bear every
And-
day through every decision, and I'm good with that. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, I don't mind it.
Fire in
It
the
makes me.
I get to
But
smoke.
anyways.
I get to smoke weed with you guys on the Weed Channel. That's what makes it all fucking worthwhile. So suck it, heathens, Philistines.
Who's this sponsored by?
Sausage Gravy Biscuit Farms.
.com.
Dallas was blasting the music for you.
Somebody ought to make a video. Somebody ought to make a commercial. .com.
I think we have several times. We just got
We
to take
have.
snippets.
It's just
Yeah.
we're just too stoned to show it.
Yeah.
Dallas has been trying to get me out of my laser like OCD focus into more my ADHD blathering idiot kind of disarray. Lisa, hello, how are you? Still jeer?
Hey, Lisa. Hey, Lisa, come on up. That way there will still be 4 and I can go to sleep. Speaking of which, y'all, it's been fun, but it's 11:30 and tonight I'm going to try to get a full 8 hours of sleep. So we will chat with y'all later. Have a good one. Thanks for chatting.
Doing well, Patriot.
Hey, good night.
Night, Sing.
All right, Lisa, you're up.
Yeah, I got a little bit more. I'm gonna be going. I got to drop out of here in a little bit myself.
Well, I'm not going to stay any longer. So when you drop it out, I'm out too.
Yep.
Okay.
But I do want to nudge you towards going to the local joint and picking up a fucking generator tomorrow.
Well, as soon as the funds are available, that's where I'm going.
That's true. It takes a few more days. Okay. I keep forgetting that. I just want this to see. There's my OCD kicking in. I really need for this project.
No. I'm on point. I'm on point with this. You got to have water, and that's how I get it. So,
well, this has been an ongoing issue for you for a while now.
Right.
So
right.
this solved a lot of problems for you.
Yeah.
Just my small opinion. But
yes.
I'm very happy to see this come to fruition. So that's cool.
Rock on. And
very
God
cool.
bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Much love to Max. He fucking took the point on this. This is all Max's thing. We're just kind of helping him.
Rock on. Rock on. I am so grateful. I just
It's all right. Dude, it's fine. It'll keep you going.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Keep going for a few more days. Keep the dream alive. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Keep you online. We don't want to see you go dark there from Missouri.
Right.
You know,
Right.
even with internet, you got to have a router. You got to have power to run it. You know,
Right.
and the sun ain't always there for you. So,
Yeah.
dude, I feel you.
This time of year, it's worse this year than it was last year. Last year wasn't so bad. This year's not been good. There's something different about all of it. My equipment's not failing. You know what I'm saying? It's
No,
got it's
well,
this the
your
sun.
generator's failing.
Well, my right. The generator's failing, but I mean, as far as the solar system, last year was much better. I don't understand what's going different. I've done the metering on my devices. They're not pulling any more energy. The batteries seem to be fine, and
Are you
everything seems to be the same.
are you getting the same amount of sun? Because I don't believe you
No,
are. This year is an El Nino year. You know that, right?
yeah, or Nina or whatever. Yeah,
Right. So that's like 1 in 4, 1 in 5 years where it gets we get hammered with snow and we get hammered with fucking lots of moisture comes on shore from the west and you get a lot of snow over there. Jesus Christ, are you seeing all the snowstorms and the ice storms going on around there? Did you see
around
where
we haven't gotten anything here. So
Senator Tim Kaine from Virginia was stuck on I-95
right,
overnight with all the rest of the Virginians that were stuck in the snowstorm there? Apparently, they got 18 inches of snow and didn't know how to handle it. So they were stuck on 95 and had to sleep there overnight. Literally. No shit.
Wow.
But Virginia Senator Tim Kaine drives up from Richmond to Washington, D.C., back and forth on that little slot of I-95, and it got closed because of
Right.
snow.
Right.
So, anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. But
I think that's hilarious.
It's been a hard weather winter for many places.
Right.
Um,
We get a lot of clouds, but we haven't gotten a lot of a lot of snow.
I've seen more clouds than I've ever seen before in the desert. And again, I'm not a desert expert. I don't have many, many years here, but I've seen more rain than I ever expected in the desert living here.
Right.
Honestly, I have. Oh, by the way, I got my solar batteries today. So I got
really?
10,000 watt hours of fucking batteries were delivered by the freight company today on a pallet.
On a pallet. And you got your building, right?
Got my building. So the pallet they dropped it right in front of the building, and I haven't had a chance to go snip the thing off the pallet and pull the batteries into the building yet. But I'll do that first thing in the morning.
Really?
I hope that cold weather doesn't affect the lithium too bad.
Not the cold. What kind of cold are you talking about?
Well, it's probably going to get 25 degrees down there tonight on the outside. Those batteries probably get down to about 25 degrees. But the thing about the batteries is I'm not trying to charge them while they're cold. So they'll be okay. Lithium iron phosphate is allowed to get cold. You just can't charge it when it's cold.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Yeah.
Jason's in the house, really digging this out there driving. So like I said, I just got my batteries today. I'm pretty excited about that. Those are commercial grade batteries. So I'll get them in there, get them warmed up, and then I have to start building my solar system because I now have most, if not all, of the parts.
Right. Good deal.
I just need to put the panels up. That's next. Well, no, that's not next. There's a lot of next.
There's a lot of next in there, right?
There's a lot of next.
You got your sheets You got your sheets for the wall?
Sheets for the wall. No, I have one on order from Home Depot. It's a 4x4 sheet of concrete for the wall that I'll
You're
put
gonna
on
put
there
it on
first.
concrete?
Yeah,
Okay, concrete board kind of thing.
concrete board on the wall. Exactly. Put the
Oh,
concrete
wow.
board on the wall, and then put the 2 inverters on the wall. Put the center tap transformer on the wall between them.
Right.
And then run those off to a mains over here that'll then go drop down all the way through the floor and out in through the ground to the mains panel, which is about 25 feet from the
Right.
building.
Now those batteries, they get mounted to the wall too?
The batteries will not get mounted to the wall, but they will be stacked against the wall. Yes, I have to find a way to. I have either I'll put one of those batteries on the floor and another one of those batteries above it on some kind of rack, either a bread rack or some kind of rack I'm going to build, because eventually I want to put yet another battery and yet another battery on top of that to increase my batteries to 4 instead of just 2.
Right. Right. There you go. I don't know how big they are or how they're set up.
Well, they're 125 pounds each,
Yeah.
but they're also 19-inch rack mountable lithium iron phosphate batteries.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So I mean, they're brand name batteries. I can't. Let me see if I can remember. Hold on for a second. I'll show you.
Well, it reminds me of the ones we set in those telephone towers.
It is, as a matter of fact, it's very, very much like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack per battery. There it is, right there. Okay. Let me share this screen with you.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. And that's 550.
These are, let's see. These are 48 volt systems, 100 amp hours. So for a total of they're 51.2 volts instead of 48 volts. They're 51.2 volts.
Right.
Rated capacity, 100 amp hours. Energy, 5120 watt hours. And so these have, you see the stackable terminals there.
Right.
So you can stack these one on top of each other and they're rack mountable. You can see the little lips
Yep.
along
Yep.
the side here. And they have their own smart BMS included here. And they have RS 485 ports here for communication to other batteries, and
Yep.
an on-off port here. On-off, their own internal on-off switch. So you can shut the whole thing down with one switch right here,
Right.
internally controlled. They're nice commercial grade batteries. $1,500 a piece is what I paid for them. I got 2 of them for roughly $3,000 delivered. Highly rated batteries by a lot of different people.
Right. Right. Good deal. Just 100 amps though.
100 amp hours at 48 volts. Now you have to understand.
I know 48 volts. I got it. No, I understand.
Okay. So my whole much fun is going to be adding to this later on down the street.
I'd like to see a duration test for it once you get it all hooked up.
Yeah. I'd like how long it'll run the house, how long two of them will run the house. Yeah, I'd like to know that too. I'd like to know that too. We're going to find out real quick.
Because at 48 volts, you're going to be running. So basically, you only got a 200 amp well.
That's correct.
So I'm kind of curious how that's going to work for you on that.
So you don't think 200 amp hours at 48 volts or 51 volts is going to be enough for a long time? For what?
I don't know. I'm not certain of the duration times with the 48 volts. I didn't notice a great difference when I was doing the 24 volt stuff. Because I have these inverters that are 24 volts, but I think I went back to the 12 volt setups because they lasted longer. I had a deeper amp well.
No.
So, but I was just curious.
You pull more. The reason you want 48 volts versus 12 volts is you can pull more current through a higher voltage cable. That's it right there. So now that I have 48 volts, I have 4 times the 12 volt energy.
Right.
So 48 volts at 100 amp hours versus 12 volts at 100 amp hours. That's a no-brainer.
Of course. But for the batteries I've been getting, I can get a 100 amp battery. Of course, it's flooded cell. And
but you could still build a 48 volt system with flooded cell, 12 volts or 6 volts or whatever.
Right. And I don't have a problem with that, but I didn't have the longevity of usage out of it either.
So I did some rough calculations. And I calculated that my house back east would roughly draw 13 kilowatt hours of energy over the span of a 24-hour period.
Right.
So I don't suspect that 10 kilowatt hours is going to get me 24 hours. 10 kilowatt hours is going to get me 24 hours of home operation. If home operation includes lots of air compressor or heat pump or air conditioner use, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So, but I do believe that once I jack up into the 20 kilowatt hours of storage, that I'll be able to get more than 24 hours out of a battery bank. Further, I plan on incorporating my battery bank into a net metering solution with my local utility, wherein I can put into the grid during the day and take out of the grid at night, thereby minimizing my need to utilize the batteries in the nighttime as much as one might think. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So my plan is to do a grid tie thing where they won't let me make a ton of money or any money on the grid tie, but they will let me break even for the power that I use from them. So if I put in enough during the day to kind of bank enough to use at night during, say, a grow or air conditioning usage or something like that, then I minimize the use of the batteries during the evening. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So that's the plan. And then eventually get to build enough capacity both through the inverter. And that's why I bought these GrowWatt 5,000 kVA units, is you can stack them 6 wide to give you up to 30 kVA of power to the house or to whatever you want. Further, you can do the same thing with the batteries. You can stack the batteries up through ad infinitum because each one has its own built-in shit. They all talk together. They all talk the same language through
right.
RS-485, blah, 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 blah. So I'm trying just to build the baseline of a bigger system that I'll build into later on. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's an evolutionary thing more than anything else. I'm just kind of trying to evolve into it. And then try to get as many cheap used panels up in onto the ground to give me enough PV to keep all these things charged at once in the Nevada heat.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
I figure most of my power usage will be during the day running the air conditioner. That's been my experience so far.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your power is kept to do environmental stuff, really, to keep you from
And the
frying
equipment cool. Yeah.
and the
You gotta
equipment cool. Exactly. So with that said, and during the day, you should be able to utilize, I should be able to either utilize the grid power early on, but also build my system to the point where I can utilize PV power during the day to run the air conditioners, and also then have enough PV power to feed the grid and feed the air conditioner
Right.
during the day. At that point, I'm fucking successful. And I've got I'm very close to achieving my goal. Does that make sense?
Right. 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 And that's where, that was one of the things that I noticed here, because when we started putting panels on the roof didn't get so damn hot.
Exactly. Exactly. So you want to keep as much PV on roofs to keep cool as possible. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Excuse me. But yeah, absolutely. Yep. So
And that's just, and I'll be honest with you, that's just because of today's regulatory system. The upside is that I'm going to be able to write 30% of this off on fucking taxes
right.
in one fell swoop every year until I can literally amortize the entire system off on taxes. So when you consider how much it's going to cost me, and then minus 30% of that, I
Right.
reach my goals of, and the whole thing here is when you amortize this, these numbers are the only way you get you make money or you come out positive is when you amortize all these costs across 25 years.
Yeah, but the
Basically, that's
batteries aren't going to last 25 years, shit like that.
they won't. But you can make the batteries make money for you if you amortize those across, say, a 10-year span.
Right.
And the batteries should make 10 years. They come with 10-year warranties. Now, whether
Okay,
or not
well,
the company will be around 10 years, I don't know. But
right.
but I've seen people tear these batteries down, and they're pretty awesome batteries. They really are.
Yeah.
What's his name? Prowse. Will Prowse. He does a lot of solar work. He has said a lot of good things about this batteries. A lot of other people have said a lot of good things about these batteries. I've seen these batteries work, and they're really good batteries. So
And how
I'm
much were they a
excited
piece?
about getting them.
How much were they a piece?
1,500.
Damn, son of a bitch.
I know. They ain't cheap, brother. They ain't cheap.
But if they got a 10-year warranty on them,
10-year warranty. Yep. 48-volt systems. And again, so I bought 2 of them. That's $3,000. I'm going to be able to take 30%, which is $1,000 off of that. So my total cost on these is $2,000 for 2 of them, which is $1,000 a piece. That's taking 30% off for the federal government's tax abatement that they're going to give me for buying this battery.
You want to know something weird?
What's that?
I've got a vented tower that could mount those things with a glass front.
I'm about to buy a 3/4 stack, I don't know, 18 RU, 15 to 18 RU server rack lockable with PDU and everything else, and have it shipped here just for my home network, not even for the batteries. The batteries will get a completely different solution, stackable solution of some kind. I'm
Right.
actually thinking about some kind of bread rack or Amazon rack, because the batteries are going to go down to the building. And my
Right.
network rack is going to go into the utility closet here in the house. So
But yeah,
we must be boring people because we're losing viewership here.
it's getting late too. But
Dude, I don't
yeah,
mean to keep you. I mean, listen, if you got to bail, then you got to bail. I just, that's all.
rock
I
on,
wanted you
man.
to see these.
I'm falling out. I was just
All
like
right.
yawning. I'm losing track of things. I'm good and pain free and feeling pretty good. So,
Let me
looking
see.
forward.
Do I have anything left in here? I don't even have anything left in there. We knock some of that out. I'll sprinkle a little bit more pixie dust into this thing, throw a light on it, and we'll call it a
One
win.
more
Call
fire
it
in
a
the
night. How
bowl.
about that? Yep.
Yep. One more fire in the bowl. We'll call it.
One more time, just for all the homies out there, for all the lurkers, all you
Yeah.
lurkers, feel free to sign off. Shadow Man, Jason, appreciate you guys sticking around.
Rock on.
I know I get up
Bye.
here, I get stoned, dude. And you get me talking about these kinds of things, and I love talking about them.
Right. I do too.
But I really need to spend more time down there in the building putting all these fucking things together. But I'm still up here working on the house, working on the Jeep, taking deliveries of fucking furniture. I just got a new fridge for the office today.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I got to pull that out of a box, set it up. I got 2 75-inch TVs that got to go up on the wall. I can't do it myself, so I have to hire help in at $75 an hour. You believe that shit?
Oh shit. Yeah, I know. I know. I used to do that shit. Yeah.
So, but guys coming in day after tomorrow or something like that to help me lift them up on the wall. So I got to make sure that the mounts, there's 2 mounts on the wall, and the 2 mounts are on the back of the fucking TVs. So when he comes in, we make short order of this. We get them mounted. I get them plugged in, and life is good. I move
Well, you
on.
got the wall plate. You got a wall plate that's going to go on, and then it mounts to that. Yeah.
Right. I got 2 wall plates already set up, power plates already set up, coaxial and Ethernet already set up for each TV.
Right. Right.
I've already put a mount bar up there, so it's an angled mount bar. I put 2 4 3-inch lag bolts into studs
Nice.
on each one of 2 mount points. These mount bars are probably this big,
Yeah.
fucking huge. But I just need to lift the TVs up and get them hooked on there.
Oh
And
wow.
I can't do that by myself. My wife doesn't have enough upper body strength to help me out here. So
Oh well.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll get it fixed.
Rock on.
We'll get it fixed. On top of the fact that I still need to get maintenance done on the fucking RV. I need to get the RV cleaned. Holy fuck. Did I tell you that they just came to fill the propane tank?
No.
Yeah. 250 gallons of propane. I got it for $2.49 a gallon. My first delivery. You believe that shit? Cheap.
$2.49 a gallon.
Yep. I got roughly 220 gallons.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's. I mean, I'm buying it by the 20-pound tanks, and
Well, I mean, it's if you buy it by the 20 gallons at $15 per tank, or even $16 per tank at the
20
Walmart,
pound,
what we're
20
getting
pound
for
tank
20
is
pounds, which is
18
5
bucks.
gallons, 18
Yeah.
bucks. So you're paying $3 a gallon, not even $4 a gallon. So $3, little $3 and over, $3.50 a gallon.
Mhm.
Muffin lives do matter though. Blueberry is one of my favorite muffins, dude. Walmart has a blueberry muffin, by the way, that I just fucking destroy. My wife buys them by the fucking armload. Anyway, I'm
So
sorry.
200 gallons, you said?
200 gallons, yeah, at $2.49 a gallon.
$500 bill.
That's, dude. I'll take that. I'll take
Yeah.
that. So what that means is that gives the wife cooking, and gives me the propane is fuel for the generator. So
Right.
if electricity ever goes out, the generator automatically kicks in.
Yeah.
Not automatically right now. It just fucking power goes out, generator kicks in.
What's your heat?
Heat is electric.
Is electric.
Yeah. What I may end up doing is putting propane emergency heat in here because I have a heat pump. So it's not unheard of to put propane. Here's the problem with that, though. If I get to where I'm total solar, then I'd really rather eat electricity than I would eat propane.
Right,
Does
because
that
it's
make sense?
replaceable. Yeah.
Because I can replace the electricity versus having to outsource and buy the propane.
Correct.
So I'm thinking keep it where it's at right now. If I ever need to move to propane emergency, I can do that.
Yep. That's always an as an option. It's great. And as
Dude,
I
listen, I don't want to keep you up. If you need to go to bed, go on to bed.
I'm gonna fall asleep. That's what I'm worried about. So
All good, brother. All good.
all right, man. God bless you. Thank you
Have a
guys for
wonderful
being part
evening.
of the show. I do. I thank God for each and every one of you each and every day. So
Take care of yourself, brother.
you know
Stay
it.
safe.
Dream well, Patriots, and I will see you tomorrow night.